Flecha's Barcelona in just a few moments' time. Let's hear from Juan Antonio Flecha.
Barcelona is a very cosmopolitan city. It's also very youthful. It's very open to sport as well. As a Mediterranean city, is so closely connected to the sea and has a character unlike any other Spanish city. I'm Juan Antonio Flecha. We're going to explore Barcelona by bike. The use of bicycles has evolved tremendously. In the past, it was unusual to see people getting around on a bike, but now there are bike lanes everywhere. In the end, it's a very easy way to get around, and you can move effortlessly between different parts of the city. This is San Antonio Market. Well, we're now at the MACBA, the Barcelona Museum of Contemporary Art, which is also famous for its vibrant skateboarding scene. You can see the Sagrada Familia from so many different parts of the city, and in the end, it's that iconic landmark that makes Barcelona so special. I think it really reflects who we are and the city's identity. This is one of my favorite places. Montjuic is where I come most often whenever I'm in the city because of the incredible views it offers of Montseny, the Pyrenees, and Barcelona itself. From here you get the essence of Barcelona without even having to go into the city. It's a beautiful way to stay connected with this amazing urban landscape.
132.2 kilometres to go, 3:43 for our breakaway group of three. Juan Antonio. .46 kilometres an hour at the front of the race. The peloton now riding at 62 kilometres an hour. And the team of Pinarello Q36.5 have come to the front of the race. There's some Italian fans in the background. Nicely colour coordinated in the tricolore. But these three riders working very, very well together to try and establish a bigger lead to give themselves a chance when they get into Barcelona this afternoon to try and win the stage.
Yeah, 3 minutes 43, still quite tight, but the gap is stable at this point in the race. The team of Pinarello's with 36.5 is just stabilizing the gap. Interesting for them to
point, I would think that symbolically, this Melissa bike would take the front. Kaiser had the yellow jersey, but it looks like Tom Peacock has said, oh, I think today I can do something.
He must be thinking that this stage is for him. He must feel that this is a big opportunity. This is Calafell. The castle is on the headland, a population of 31,800 people here.
It's got 5 kilometres of beaches, crystal clear waters. It's been inhabited since ancient times. The citadel was founded in the 6th century BC. It's hosted the Vuelta twice. One rider. This one here is England in 1973.
And the entire Pinarello team, or four of them, now on the front, very, very early. Do you think it's too early for them to set out their stall and to say, look, let's as far as we're concerned, we think Tom can win the stage. Does that give the game away?
No, not at all. I think at this point, the whole idea of
fighting a game doesn't count. It's about taking responsibility. So there's a moment where the gap is, I won't say significant, but decent, 3 minutes 45 more or less. And it's time that you, if you want to have a go at the stage, you say, okay, today I'm one of the favourites. Let's go and try and do something today. And you ask your teammates to go into the front. What's interesting is also Bora's just there behind us when we go down. Sitting in fifth position. I didn't see if they are committing to the chase or they're just sitting there to kind of hold position.
Also, the team at Decathlon are up in the front as well, in front of Wiesma.
Yes, it's so it looks like today is like a mini classic. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of the GC teams will start chasing. Again, I didn't think they were going to be, 236.5 be the first team to go and ride. I did imagine they would come later
on, as you thought that they were going to come later on, it is maybe early. But no, it's like no team were taking it on, and the sports director just makes the call. It's like, okay, no one's starting to chase. We don't want this gap to go to 5 minutes because it's going to give us harder work later on. We do want to keep things under control. You can see the bunch is extremely stretched out.
3 minutes 40. And they're staying on this road for quite a long time now, all the way into Sitges.
The first interest of the day is at 82.9 kilometres to go at Wildercan, so we've got quite a long time until we get to the intermediate sprint. Before then, it's about the breakaway trying to establish itself, the rest of the peloton settling into this first road stage of the Tour this season. In the front group, Alex Molinar, he's a stage winner in the Tour of Langkawi, a stage winner in Kingai Lake. He's from Rotterdam. He's a 26-year-old rider who rides for that team of Karel Rauw. He's giving the wildcard team an opportunity for them to basically say to the Tour de France organisers, you were right to ensure our invite into this race. There was many who wanted the Unibet Rose Rockets to be part of the race. There was a big campaign really about that, but Karel Rauw was chosen for a number of different reasons. In particular, they're a Spanish team. They're one of the highest ranked teams as well in world cycling outside of the World Tour. So Karel Rauw were invited as opposed to Unibet Rose Rockets. Actually saw Baz Tietma 2 days ago. He's here at the Tour. I don't know whether he's here to campaign for them being invited. Here's Nicholas Vinokurov. Let's hear now from Mathieu van der Poel.
Is today's stage too hard, or is it a stage for you?
I would say too hard, but yeah, we will see. Always depends on how the race develops, but yeah, it looks harder than everybody thinks.
Because when we see your shape a week ago, or over a week ago, we feel that you have what it takes to win.
Yeah, I think the shape is there, but yeah, I need the legs as well today, of course, and I think already some of the GC guys will be keen to attack. So yeah, we will see and wait how the race develops.
If I had you in my fantasy team, would I need to put you as captain today to double the points?
No.
3 riders in the breakaway.
3:39.
PK doing his job good there for fantasy. There we go.
Yeah, make sure.
Right on cue. So who's your favourite for fantasy today?
So there's the fancy game. I know some of you said you don't know how to play it, so scan that, hit play, sign up, select your 8 riders, and you can go head-to-head with PK as well. Me, Nico, and about 200,000 people, I think, or way more. Hundreds of thousands of people are taking part in the fantasy game.
Mine today is Roman Gregor. What's yours? I'm a good guy. Oh, teacher, that's a good thing. I have a feeling, so yesterday we talked about it, actually we just saw the results of the KOM, and I was looking for times at the end of KOM yesterday, and I was happy. I thought they were only going to give us the points of who was first, second, and third, but they gave us a whole list of the times of the runs yesterday, so the time of the KOM yesterday was done on a segment, and not only on
Average was 46.2. So it was also in counting that little descent. So literally from when they started the first part of Montjuic.
46.2 kilometers an hour average. Okay.
Over the 3.7 kilometers. The fastest time was Tadej Pogacar. Vingegaard was 2 seconds off, but so was Evenepoel. Ghana was 3 seconds off, a brilliant climb there by Ghana. Romain Grégoire, who's your favorite for today, he was fifth with 6 seconds off. Van Wilder, who did really well, was 9 seconds off. Pidcock 11 seconds off. Sexas 11 seconds. And Ayuso 11. And Van der Poel 13 seconds off. So that was the top 10 yesterday of the fastest finishing times over the last part of the course.
That might give us an idea then who might win today.
Well, it came up. It was interesting to see that Van der Poel said that might be a little bit too hard for him, but he still managed to get the 10th time over the final 4 kilometers, 3.7 kilometers.
Okay. So he may have the legs to win.
He may. But again, I think he's very. He's quite straightforward in interviews. When he thinks he can win, he says, I think I can win. When he thinks it's too hard, he says, I think it's too hard. And he's often very correct about his capability. And he doesn't really miss out. What we're sure he's definitely going to try. But I do think that the final lap, going up there 3 times, and once again, his interview says it depends on the race. If there's a team that takes it on right from the beginning, it's going to be very difficult. If it's going to be random attacks and the pace is on and off, he may have a chance to pace himself and then be there for the final climb in one big attack.
Let's see whether he can do it later on this afternoon. Church of Santa Maria de Cabellas, we just went past. Built between 1697 and 1737, a Baroque-style church. Pollitt, back of the team car, trying to get bottles, ice and everything else that's on offer. Just puts them down the jersey, couple in the pockets. See how many bottles he can take on board at any one particular time. And also Florian Vermeer's at the back of the group as well. And just looking after the team and making sure that everybody is hydrated. Did the King of the Mountains times tell you anything else yesterday?
Not really. Not really. I was surprised to see the difference in the times, for example. I mean, the top 30 riders are about 40 seconds apart, so it's still quite, over 4 kilometers, still quite tight on the climb.
Frank Vandenbroek on the front, in the colours of Team Picnic Post and El Raisin. Behind them is Alex Molenaar. And on the back is the German champion, Felix Engelhardt. They're cruising along at just around 50 kilometres an hour. Most of today's stage so far. They broke away very early after a lot of early attacks. This is the team of Pinarello QZ 6.5 with Asparen, Harper, Quinton Hermans, Housen, Marisa, Brent Van Moor, and the new British champion, Fred Wright. Their team leader is Tom Pidcock over there on the left-hand side. Pidcock, a double Olympic champion in mountain bike, a stage winner in the Tour de France in Alpe d'Huez, and a podium finisher in La Vuelta. So he's got nice memories of racing in Spain. We're going to hear now from Pidcock because his team are on the front as we look here at Fred Wright.
I think it worked quite well. We can be quite happy with the team time trial that we did. So yeah, I feel okay. Obviously, it's first proper road stage, a little bit unknown. Haven't raced as much as I'd like, but yeah, just excited to get stuck in.
Because yesterday you were already focused on today.
Yeah, good warm up for today, I think.
The course it really seems suited for you. It's super hard, punchy. You probably know it a little bit. It's inspiring.
Yeah, no, it definitely suits me really well. But obviously, we know there's other riders that it also suits. But for sure, one of the better chances for me and the team. So we will take that.
The Pinarello QZ 6.5 team are on the front, looking after the interest of Tom Pidcock for that possibility of him winning today's stage. message. First day out for our Blackboard team. They welcome us to the Tour de France. They're the team who gives the time gaps along the way. Coming back to that interview, what is it with riders and chewing gum now? Because I've had it twice. Ayuso and Pidcock.
And then when I saw the riders rock up to the line, most of the Romeo from Movistar also was chewing gum. I'm going to investigate. I'm going to make a few phone calls today. The chewing gum gate.
Yeah, what is it? I think that there is a gum that's been brought out. I read about this somewhere, so investigate. A gum that was brought out that's got some sort of properties in it that helps with performance, and I'm not being funny.
No. I mean, if they're all chewing gum, it has to be with performance.
Yeah.
Especially if it's prior to a race. If it's recovery, it's for recovery.
Yeah.
But if it's prior to the race, it must be releasing something, whatever it's protein or whatever amino acids they have. But I am going to investigate. Give me a couple of days, and I'll do my Sherlock Holmes job.
Exactly.
And if someone has the answer home, please share with us.
Yeah, do it now. At Ampercrossland and Nicholas Roach, because the other night I was interviewing one Ayuso and he was chewing gum the entire time. And I just thought, it's because he comes really from America and he was just doing the whole
culture,
chewing gum, being cool thing. And I thought, okay, I'll just leave it. Now Pidcock's doing it. You've seen more riders doing it. There's a reason.
There is a reason.
There always is. Because it's just odd. But there we go. Welcome along. 120 kilometres of racing to go. We're heading to Saint-Père de Ribes now, which is a population of 32,000 people. Home to the ruins of a 12th century castle. Born in 1140, it was owned by the troubadour Guillaume de Ribes. He was born in 1140. He was a lord of Saint-Père de Ribes, known for his lyric poetry. Look at the number of people at the side of the road here in Saint-Père de Ribes. We're going to go past the 10th century castle. Pinarello Q36.5. Continue with the pacemaking. Bottles being thrown. Fred Wright moving up on the left-hand side of the road in the colours of the British champion. Fred Wright doesn't win many bike races, but he's won 2 in his career, and both of them are the National Championship of Great Britain. He's come very, very close to winning a stage of the Tour de France and other big races, but he just missed out. His dream is to try and win a stage of the Tour. Used to ride for the team of Bahrain Victorious, moved now to the team of Tom Pidcock. And they seem to me to be a team that are pretty relaxed and they just enjoy being part of this overall squad. This is the Railway Museum, Catalonia Railway Museum, dates from the 19th century. The museum was opened in 1990. It was a maintenance and repair place for steam engines, closed in 1967 originally, and it has a collection now of 60 vehicles, 28 steam engines, diesel and electric locomotives, as well as some luxury passenger carriages. The museum's crown jewels, for those of you who like to be a train spotter, Mataro locomotive, an exact replica of the first train to be run in Spain between Barcelona and Mataro in 1848. Simone Velasco asking for a car. Velasco, I was told, was the rider who was worse injured yesterday in the team of XDS Astana. He's the one with more cuts and bruises and scrapes than anybody else. Nico, have you found out the answer already?
Some answers. I didn't get the actual precise one, but I got multiple ones. So the first one is to improve focus and alertness. Chewing gum has been shown in studies that it slightly increases alertness and concentration, especially during lasting efforts 6 to 4 hours. So we're kind of 4 to 6 hours. So we're kind of in there.
What? So if you chew the gum beforehand
and during,
yeah, more alert, so you'll last longer in 4 to 6 hours here.
Yes.
Okay.
The main one is slow caffeine delivery, Many teams are now using caffeinated gum instead of gels because the absorption throughout the lining of the mouth can enter the bloodstream relatively quicker, making it more useful before a decisive moment in the race. But doing an interview, I don't think you're looking for a caffeine shot, so
I might need it instead.
I'll still need to hunt more into my answers. But those are the immediate ones. Some gums will have a caffeine delivery, and some of them now again shows about helping to focus and improve alertness.
So Ayuso's doing it, Pidcock's doing it, and we will spot more during this race.
One of the reasons, again, is repetitive chewing gum can help reduce stress or anxiety, and riders will use it before a climb or sprint or technical descent. I also need to double check that information.
Yeah, can you imagine you're chewing gum and you go up, someone attacks you, going up a climb?
You choke.
You choke. For New Zealand fans, this is George Bennett. Bennett in the colours as New Zealand champion. And I know he's got a lot of people who want to cheer him on to try and win something in this tour. If it's not today's stage, then something else. He has been looking very, very good in the last few weeks. Well, yesterday we had an opening team time trial. We're going to take a little look now inside the peloton. A look inside the peloton with 114.7 kilometres of racing to go. If you've just joined us, 3 riders in the breakaway, 3 minutes 27 seconds. Frank van den Broek, the rider from Picnic Post and El Raisin, on the back of the group. The German champion Felix Engelhardt of Jaco Alula and Alex Molinar of the team of Carural in the green and white at the back of this group. They attacked pretty early. Their advantage hovered around 20 seconds for a long time until the peloton decided that it was going to let the riders go. On the front of the peloton, the team of Pinarello Q36.5, the team of Tom Pidcock, looking to try and bring Pidcock to the Montjuic circuit to try and win the stage. Pidcock has already said that he feels like today could be a big possibility for him to win a stage of the tour, and it definitely suits him with his attributes. We'll talk about the circuit in a little while as we think about the possible winners of today's stage. Lots of you messaging in at Macross and at Nicholas Roach. Thanks for all the information about the chewing gum that the riders are taking. Also to Kath, happy birthday to you, and thank you very much for watching. Nico, we saw there in the inside shot the first footage we've seen on our broadcast of the Astana crash, which was pretty bad yesterday.
Yeah, it's full-on speed on a straight line, unexpected. And it's still now, even from seeing the video probably 7 or 8 times, I still don't get what happened exactly, because there is a grill marked and you could just see the purple paint. But they go over that and there's not a problem. The crash happens outside that area, and it seems that maybe he touched wheels, but again from the video he's off the line of the riders. So I don't know what happened, and the road seems to be clean exactly where it happened, but wow, high-speed crash, riders piling up on top of each other, 4 riders down. It was not a good way to start, but very unfortunate.
It was really unfortunate the way they crashed. They had been doing a good ride up until that point.
Yes, because they also didn't have specifically someone to go for the stage, but they're riding very focused.
They did a huge amount of work as well. Alex Dowsett is their person who looks to try and tune their team time trials. I was messaging him this morning and he was pretty disappointed. They've done, in his eyes, a huge amount of work to just try and get everything really nailed, really deliver a very, very good performance for XTS Astana. And it's important, isn't it, that we heard Juan Ayuso yesterday saying, I want to pay back the team, because they've done a massive amount of work behind the scenes.
Yes, when you have a team time trial like this, or a time trial, teams do spend a lot in optimizing every single detail. They'll have extra training camps. They look into a bit more into the details of the whole team, the material. They'll calculate who has to be behind who. So even if it's not financial investment, it's time consuming. You will have to get the position between the riders is thought of, who rides behind who, depending on sizes, on power, on length of your turn. If a rider's doing a 20-30 second turn, you might have someone who's a bit weaker behind him, because it will compensate the longer turn of the rider behind him, and then you have another rider strong behind him who will be able to keep the speed and not let it drop a second time. So everything is calculated. There's a lot of work that goes on behind that, to try and optimize how the team goes over the length of the team time trial. When you come out from a crash and you take most of the team out, it's one thing if you have 1 rider's out, and yes, you still have 7 riders to go. But unfortunately, when you take most of the team out, all the work you've put in just literally goes out the window for 10 minutes of racing.
Front of the race doing 50k an hour. The peloton at 4 to 6 going through Sitges, which is one of the beautiful resorts here on this coastline. Talking about the team time trial and how much work there is done behind the scenes. And as Nico mentioned, you've had loads of social media. You've had all the beautiful drone shots of the training and everything else. Matthew Heiboer, the head of performance, and I'm sure now the member of our team who's from the Netherlands, Ava, will be laughing at our pronunciation of his name. He told everyone last night, because he was pretty emotional at the finish line, and he said everything kind of flooded out really, because they tested the approach they used yesterday in the Tour of Rhône-Alpes. They did loads of computer modelling to work out, as Nico was just saying, which formation they put the riders in. They sat down with Jonas at the Giro d'Italia and they talked him through what the plan was going to be. And the plan was going to be that Jonas, Sepp Kuss and Matteo Jorgensen did no work in the early stages of the time trial, and they used Affini and all the other riders on the front, Campanarts, Affini, the time trialists, for as long as they possibly could. They also did a lot of work. Jamie Loudon, who's the aero specialist who joined the team in 2024. Is that Joss Loudon's brother? I think she broke the world hour record.
Oh, maybe.
And she's married to Dan Bigham, of course. They did loads and loads of work, and even at the point when they sat down with Jonas and they sold the whole concept to him at the Giro, he bought into the plan. But Jonas said last night that in the headwind, he was wondering, hang on a minute, this feels too easy. He felt too comfortable. But then he had to buy into the plan and sit there and think, okay, I have to put my faith in the guys who are on the front, because maybe if I go through, it will feel horrendous. So actually feeling comfortable here is not a bad thing. And eventually, they pulled it off. It was a huge amount of work.
There is a huge amount of work. There's a bit of a gamble there as well, but it all worked out for them. And they were all rewarded for the investment of work from their engineers.
And it's becoming more and more like that, isn't it? But at the end of the day, also, the riders have to deliver. You can model, you can do all these calculations, but at the end of the day, the riders have to be able to deliver, number one. And number two, they have to be on a day that means they can deliver. We saw Kian Uterbrooks yesterday, and he didn't have the legs.
No, I was just about to use that example of saying I'm pretty sure Movistar worked really, really hard on the plan yesterday, and it went all out. So it's not about the amount of work sometimes, it's also if the riders are there to deliver or not. And I'm pretty sure the intention in the morning was to deliver from every single rider.
109.5 kilometres of racing to go. Yesterday, a rider who was part of the plan of Net Company Ineos to take the Maillot Jaune was Kevin Vauclin, and he punctured. Let's hear from him now.
Yeah, of course, we're definitely motivated for today and the next few. So yeah, honestly, there's so many great things still to be achieved. Because of this Montjuic circuit, it's super steep, short climb, that could really suit you. Yeah, sure, why not? On paper, that's how it looks. There are a few things that might come into play, namely starting with the time trial. Nobody really knows how the legs will feel after a time trial, and even more so now, with the heat potentially being a factor. We'll start to find our rhythm though, as it goes.
Kevin Vauclin. Has he got a chance of winning today, do you think?
Kind of likes those stages too, doesn't he? I think he likes those stages too.
It's punchy enough, isn't it? The question is, has he got the legs to go with the likes of Tadej, Sexas, Roman Gregoire, who's going to win the stage in my fantasy team, and all the other riders?
Well, I think he can follow Gregoire. It's more questionable if he can follow Tadej on that climb.
Pidcock, clearly, where did he finish in that King of the Mountains climb yesterday? Pidcock was in the top 10, wasn't he? Seventh for Pidcock yesterday in the King of the Mountains. So he's got the legs on day number 1. Has he got the legs on day number 2 as he recovered from the team time trial? How much do you think the team time trial will have taken out of the riders yesterday?
I mean, there's always going to take a bit, but it's only relatively 22 minutes of racing. So today, the 4.5 hours of racing.
Yeah. So their recovery last night would have been pretty decent.
Yes. Wasn't a very early start today either, so it's all good.
The riders are heading up now to Garaf, and then they drop down to Castadel Fels, through to Villa-de-Cannes, which is where the intermediate sprint is going to be. The first intermediate sprint of this year's tour is going to be at 82.9 kilometres of racing to go.
We have about 10-12 kilometres on this road, and it's going to be the typical Corniche road, up and down. There's a couple of climbs along the way, but it's all left, right, up, down. Road I've been doing quite a lot actually this winter.
Have you ridden on this road?
Yep.
Problem for one of the Wiesma riders. Campenarts gets going again, the familiar style of him. And he has a wheelchair, complete bike change actually for Victor Campenarts. What is this road like then?
It's pretty,
Yeah,
but it's tight for a peloton, especially with all these other curves. But you could just see how it is now. It's not really flat at all. It just goes up on one side, goes down around the inside of the gorges, come back out onto the crest of this little turn here, and it's like that all the way until we get closer to Castadel Fels.
Fast road?
It's pretty fast, yes. Yeah, and they're still having that little tailwind at the moment.
So still pushing them along with 106.8 kilometres of racing to go. Thank you to all of you for being in touch. I must just mention before I forget that every year there is a group of people who are doing the Tour de Fleece. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Knitting and spinning all over the world. So hello to any of you taking part in that. I'm sure we'll be updated during the 3 weeks. And it basically brings everybody together to watch the Tour de France. and do their craft over the 3 weeks of racing. Something I never thought we'd ever talk about, but now we do.
Did you think we were going to talk about chewing gums?
Never did, actually. Yeah, chewing gum was not on my radar before I got here on Thursday, and now it is. But all the people doing the Tour de Fleece, all the very best. 3 riders in the breakaway: Frank van den Broek, Alex Molenaar, Felix Engelhardt, the German champion, who Jaco Alula have put into the breakaway to see if he can win today's stage. These riders, best placed rider is Molenaar. He's 1 minute and 12 seconds down.
Can you hold the button a little bit longer before you start to speak, and a little bit longer after you stop your sentence? Thank you.
One of the riders not happy with Addy Engels.
No. Needs to anticipate the conversation. It is sometimes it's a very, very common mistake to make. It sounds very, very simple, but it's actually very common. You're in your bike race and you start speaking, but you realize that you haven't pressed or fully the button, or just not early enough, and you usually let go before you finish your sentence. And it's again, it seems very, very simple, but as simple as it is something that happens quite often where the conversations are cut.
So one of the riders just giving lessons to his sports director on to how to communicate back to the team out there on the road, and important they have that communication absolutely perfect. Jaco Alula busy at the back with Neil Stevens in the team car, as the riders just roll along this beautiful coastline that is pretty dramatic at parts. But look at the colour of the sea on the right hand side. Absolutely stunning area for these riders to be racing through. 3:11 now for the breakaway. Starting to come down a little bit under the impact of the team of Pinarello Q36.5. Felix Engelhardt, 25 years of age in the breakaway. He's been a European champion on the road. 4 victories, a stage winner in the Tour of Slovakia, stage winner in Castile y Leon, and the new national road race champion of Germany. He finished 11th in Eschborn Frankfurt this year, and he won the Hungerberg Classic as well, which was back in April, on the 18th of April. Nico, I thought we'd talk about why the teams are here. Not just to ride the Tour de France, but why specific teams are here to ride the race. Because if you're new to the sport and you're trying to understand how it all works, yes, there's a yellow jersey for the rider who's covered the distance in the lowest time. They are the leader and ultimately the winner of the Tour. You have the green jersey, which is the points. Today at 82.9 kilometres, there's a green jersey point sprint, and there's points at the finish, and we'll explain that later. King of the Mountains, you accumulate points on the climbs. Today there will be points on offer for the riders at the top of the climbs of Montjuic and the climb before, and the white jersey's on time for the best young rider. You've got 21 stages as well, which the riders take part in, and you can have a winner of each of the 21 stages. You can have a wearer of the yellow jersey on time during the race who might not win in Paris, but they are the leader on that particular day. And the polka dot jersey for the King of the Mountains, the white jersey and the green, can change hands throughout the race. So there's all sorts of reasons for riders to be here. And I thought it would be interesting if we could zoom through the 23 teams and think about, if we don't get through all of them today, then we'll get through them tomorrow, as we see Guillaume Martin here. Why are the teams here, and what are their aims? So, should we start with UAE and the team of Tadej Pogačar, and we'll work our way through as Campenaerts sneaks past the television bike and heads back to his team car. Let's start with UAE. What is the reason why UAE are here? What's their aim?
Well, their aim is the overall win of the Tour de France with Tadej Pogacar. He will have in support mainly in the mountains Del Toro and Yates. I'm pretty sure Del Toro has in the back of his mind a podium in there too.
Yeah, because surely he can do what Adam Yates has done. Cheering on Jaco Alula, I'm sure. Yeah, because Adam Yates has supported Tadej and finished on the podium of the Tour de France before.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure Del Toro is aspiring for that. They will also, on the way, if they can win a few stages, we all know that they like to win, and they've shown it in the past, and they could do that with multiple riders.
Frank van den Broek concentrating hard. So out and out, they want to win the Tour and they want to win some stages along the way. And that's all they're interested in. They don't have a sprinter here to win stages on a bunch sprint.
No, they will focus on the yellow jersey and winning stages along the way.
Okay.
And we just saw a quick glance there of the motorbike driver giving the bottle. So that's the water bike. There'll be a few of those. They're often at the breakaway or at the back of the peloton sometimes. And when riders are allowed to get bottles from those water bikes.
Van der Broek just having to work to get himself back into the group of riders. Let's look at Wiesma Lease bike next. So why are Wiesma here?
Well, in a very similar goal than UAE Emirates XRG, they're there to win the overall tour with Jonas Vingegaard, and they started off with a nice start yesterday, getting themselves in the yellow jersey on stage 1. He will be counting on Jorgensen and Stef Kuss into the high mountains.
And that team, their focus has probably changed in the last couple of weeks since Wout van Aert's not in the team anymore.
Well, we all know that Wout always enjoyed it to go into some of the third week stages, get into the breakaway, get involved in the sprints. No, this year they will skip that and focus exclusively on Vingegaard. I'm pretty sure coming into some of the stages we might see Sepp Kuss or Jorgensen going up the front, or even the likes of Kampenaerts, who can be in that role of dropping back if they need it for Jonas Vingegaard.
So no split loyalties, all about trying to win the race overall. The team of Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe is our next team.
Well, I believe Remco is still here to win, or at least aim for a podium. Evenepoel, he will count on Hindley. We did speak that he had a dual leadership with Lipovitz, and they said they were going to talk about that, of who was going to be the ultimate leader, that the legs were going to talk about that, sorry, and that was going to be decided on the road. I think at the moment it looks more like it's Remco, their leader.
But Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe have got two riders who finished on the podium of the Tour de France before, Remco and Florian Lipovitz. They've got a winner of the Giro d'Italia in Jai Hindley. Some very, very strong bike riders in that particular squad. And it will be an interesting final couple of weeks when we see how the first week goes past and then where Lipovitz and Remco Evenepoel are.
Yeah, we just saw, for example, Nico Dens, who is not one of the superstars of cycling, but he won multiple stages in Grand Tours. Very, very solid rider. He used to be a little bit of a sprinter in the beginning of his career, and now he's transformed himself into a road captain and capable of really riding a long time with the top riders.
We're coming up to the magic 100 kilometres to go. We're going to go back and hear from Juan Antonio Flecha and Montjuic. Let's hear from him now.
I'm going as fast as Pogacar here. Here we go. This is the toughest part of the second stage, with gradients of up to 15%. Very demanding, right? We can expect attacks, and honestly, the atmosphere here is going to be fantastic. There's Montjuic Castle right there. the Mediterranean Sea on the left, Barcelona in the background, and now a right-hand turn. It's a very technical stage. Even the final part requires a lot of skill on the bike. The descent is very fast, followed by a slight false flat, and then more high-speed downhill sections. Everything will be decided on a tough climb up Montjuic Castle. The final meters will demand speed, sprinting ability, raw effort, and aerobatic power, so to speak, in order to fight for the stage. 70 kilometers per hour, that's a very fast descent into a right-hand corner. And that's the finish line of stage 2.
And they will have 3 laps today of that difficult final climb. And as Antonio Fletcher said, the descent, while he was doing 70k an hour in his sweats, tracksuits. So imagine today on the big bikes, fast bikes, all in the aero, be hitting over 90k per hour. Riders stood on the coast road for another while. The gap still similar, around that 3-minute long stretch peloton. We're getting closer to the intermediate sprint in about 14 kilometers. It'll be interesting to see which riders will start going for it. We all know at the first few stages in the Tour, a lot of the sprinters will try and commit, try and see if they can get a few points, kind of test themselves as well. We won't see a real sprint stage for another few days. What happened there? Just got cut out with the bridge. Oof, just saved it. And then what you see over the course of the next 3 weeks is when they come to this intermediate sprints, well, you will really get the riders who are committed to the green jersey, the ones who scored the most of the points, and then the other riders will kind of just get there, get that 17, 18 points. There are points for the 15 riders who go over the line on each intermediate sprint. Today there will be 25 points at the winner of the intermediate sprint, and there's 30 points at the finish of the stage. Today it's considered what we call a coefficient 3 stage. So those coefficients in the Tour de France, every stage has a coefficient, usually based on the difficulty of the stage, from 1 to 7. Yesterday, team time trial was 7. The time trial will be 6, and then between flats and much harder stages will go from 1 to 5. This will have 2 incidences. They will change the points on the finish line for the green jersey. On the flatter stages, the points on the green jersey are higher than on the mountain stages. But also will change later on. What's important is the time cut for the gruppetto for the last riders. Very interesting to see. So now the first 25 points are taken, but the top 15 riders will get points. Interesting to see if Germay goes, if Philippin goes. Pedersen, he said he was going to be there for the green jersey as well. And you can see Barcelona just in the very far ends down there. Getting closer now.
This green jersey first sprint's going to be really interesting, isn't it? Because it's our first chance to see the green jersey contenders come out and play.
Exactly, and I think they're all eager to test the legs and to see who's got the speed or not. And the thing is, what's even more interesting on the stage like today is a lot of those top sprinters in the green jersey know today's stage is difficult, so they won't hold back. They'll probably be sitting up when we get to the circuit, so they can go all out on that green jersey on the first intermediate sprint.
And it's all about, the green jersey is about consistency over 3 weeks in scoring points, isn't it?
It is, yes, and but obviously it's the further we go into the race, and it gets a lot more filtered, and is really the ones who has the most points who keep on going, and the ones who loses a point are like, okay, I'll just get the points if they're available, but I won't fight for them anymore.
Yeah.
There's no glory of being 12th in the green jersey, for example. There's really, you have it or you don't have it. It's the same with the mountain points. Unfortunately, no one says, oh, I finished second in the mountain points. Is you have it or you don't have it.
No, you don't have it.
Although finishing second in the mountain points is a great effort,
yes.
It's just not something you talk about.
No. Through the end of Castadel Fells, 97 kilometres to go. We went through there inside the magic 100 kilometres to the finish line. A real place for water sports, kayaking on the Olympic Canal built for the 1992 Olympic Games, and also often a holiday destination for the FC Barcelona players. In particular, Lionel Messi liked to come here and spend his downtime. Still doing well in the World Cup. Last night, all the French were up late, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
There's a few bleary eyes at breakfast this morning of the French. Arnaud Delis, he's a bit bleary-eyed. He's not feeling so good right now. But does he go for green jersey points? He's got to do something, hasn't he?
Yes, it's at the point where is he going to go and try and get a few points at this, or is he still in that recovery mode and hoping that things get better over the next few days? We mentioned again, he hasn't attended the team presentation. He stopped halfway through the training yesterday. He did finish the team time trial.
Yeah. There was some doubt he would finish the team time trial.
There was, yeah, but hopefully, the thing is, when it's stomach bug and you can get through it, it's usually 2 to 3 days, so hopefully it's not going to be more than that.
But you just feel really dreadful for a few days, and then hopefully the body starts to come round. And I would imagine you surprise yourself at times at the way the body can recover. This is Varcek.
Yeah, he did a great time yesterday. Brilliant ride for his leader, Ayuso. But yes, you're totally right. It's incredible how quickly the body recovers. And especially when it's a stomach issue, so the thing is you're just not kind of keeping those carbs in and keeping that energy in. But once the body decides that, okay, it's good now, I'll be able to keep that energy. After a couple of days, you're not back to normal, but almost back to normal. You can recover very quickly.
Vinokurov at the back, the Kazakh champion. But the stress for the riders can't be underestimated, can it? You've got this amount of people, which is amazing, at the side of the road. But all your senses, as we go through 10 kilometres to go to the intermediate sprint, all your senses are heightened by the noise, the speed, the tension, the talking in your ears all of the time. You've got to make good decisions for 5 hours or 4 and a bit hours of racing. The fatigue grows all the way through the 3 weeks. It's really difficult.
Yeah, you have ups and downs, and in the bus you will be able to have an amazing day, and then some days it's literally just the grumpy bus. And it is what it is, and this is why the Tour de France especially is the biggest race. You have to deal with all that, but believe me, the riders with these crowds are absolutely enjoying it, even though it's hot and the racing is on.
One rider who wishes he can win today's race, dreams of winning it, is Michael Matthews. We'll talk about his chances in a moment. We're 9.2 kilometres from the intermediate sprint. This is a bit tricky through here for the peloton, narrow as well. Let's hear from Michael Matthews.
I think I was on a good day yesterday. The team, we probably paced it a little bit too fast at the start, and I think some of the guys blew up a little bit, but I think we left it all out there, and the result was the result. But it was up to me with 3.5k to go to try and finish it off, which is not really the plan, but these things don't always go to plan.
How are the arms?
Yeah, they're okay. I think they're better and better every day, so hopefully we can get through this Tour de France and be happy. But let's see day by day how they're going. But started off on a good foot, that's for sure.
And talking about today, is it too hard or is it a stage for you?
Honestly, on paper it looks good, but when you see how fast the guys are riding uphill these days, it's going to be difficult. But yeah, I'll give it my best. I got good support from the team today, so let's see what I can do.
Michael Matthews. Let's not underestimate his return to racing. In 2026, the beginning of the season, he hit the back of a fire engine on the 5th of March. The fire engine was on the wrong side of the road doing 50k an hour. He was descending, doing motor pacing at 50k an hour. So 100k an hour impact. He had an open arm fracture. He cut his thumb tendons. He broke both his wrists. He broke his sinus and his back. To be able to do that between March and July, to actually even be able to get on a bike, let alone ride the Tour de France, is something beyond comprehension.
But very common in high-profile athletes, and Michael Matthews is known to be one of the biggest fighters in this peloton. A rider that I admire a lot. I was teammates with him and a very good friend of mine, and I never doubted he would recover physically. What I was worried about, would he ever be back to racing in a full-on peloton? When you have some of these big crashes, you get a scare and you start questioning yourself. Why am I doing it? Is it worth it? Am I going to be scared in the peloton? Because you know the pain. You've had the operations in your wrist. You've gone through all the setbacks and the time and the work you need to put in to get back to level. But the thing is, can your head let you not break when you need to not break? And that's difficult. And Michael Matthews has come back from crashes over his career. This is probably the biggest one he's had, but it looks like he's doing it in a very good manner. And again, he's one of the riders you could just never rule Michael Matthews out. If you told any one of us that he would win a mountain stage, no one would believe it, but he actually has.
Yes, exactly. And he wins. He's up there in Montreal and Quebec every year, isn't he? And it's not much different to today.
No, I think today's a little bit harder, but you're right. I mean, Quebec is also a lot longer. It's 220 kilometers then, so it's 2 hours longer almost than today. It's a very different style of racing, but we know Michael Matthews can race on short races. He's also good on the longer classics. I think he's better even on the longer classics. But he's just so punchy. He has that capability of fighting over the climbs. The problem is today is not one climb. If they have to do it 3 times, plus the little climb to the finish, there's actually 6 climbs in the last 30 kilometers. I think it might be just too much to handle the 6. If it was 1 climb only, I'd say, oh, be careful. He might just be at the back of the group on the top and then come back on the descent, and you just never know with him. But I think today might slightly be too difficult for him.
He's a rider who trains with Tadej Pogačar a lot.
Yeah, they're very, very close friends.
So he knows what Tadej is like on a climb. I'm sure he's suffered badly at times in training.
I used to enjoy a lot training with Michael Matthews. Both of us were always pushing each other because I climbed better than Michael, so when he was training with me, he enjoyed being pushed a little bit on the climbs, but then when we were doing all the sprints things, he was obviously a lot stronger than I was. But I was there to help him to do his sprint training, and we were very complimentary. We had an amazing time. We actually had this super training camp in South Africa for 2.5 weeks prior to the season. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off because that was the year when everything shut for COVID. But we thought, all right, all the mountains in Europe, it's too cold. Let's try and go to somewhere hot, get altitude, training in. And this is already years ago, before now has become the rule number 1 to get those altitude training camps pre-season, not only when you're preparing for a Grand Tour. But as you mentioned, yeah, now he's training with Tadej Pogačar, so he's challenged a lot more than what I could have challenged him back then.
But he also said that every single day of his rehabilitation, Tadej Pogačar messaged him or called him.
Yeah, I think Michael is again is someone who has a lot of support in the peloton and especially in the Monaco community.
Nearly at the intermediate sprint, 88.3 kilometres of racing to go. 2 minutes 30 now for our 3-rider breakaway. If you've just joined us, Frank Vandenbroek of Picnic Post NL is on the attack. He's joined by Felix Engelhardt, who is the 25-year-old German champion, and also in the group of riders is Alex Molinar, the Dutch rider who rides for the team of Carural, the wildcard team. These riders at the front of the peloton. How do things change now in the coming kilometres to the intermediate sprint, knowing that Pinarello Q-Thed 6.5 have been the team on the front, and now where attention switches to the sprinters' teams?
Yes, we could just see now the team there of NSM coming up with Germay just on the right-hand side of the screen. On the left, you have the team, there we go, of Soudal, Jesper Stuyven there in the front, and they will be leading out from Merlier. Just there they are on the left-hand side of the screen. We'll most likely see this team coming up pretty shortly, and they will be going with Philipsen. Who else is he going for the green jersey? Pedersen, obviously, with a little Trek. Haven't seen them at the front of the bunch yet, but they'll be moving up quickly. Probably just with one rider, because we also know that the whole team is focused around Ayuso.
Olav Koy, the team of Decathlon. Tim Merlier, Soudal Quickstep.
Yes.
Harvard Decline of Tudor Pro Cycling. Maybe even Gaviria looking for some points for Carural.
Well, he's not going to get them at the back of the peloton. That's him there, starting with 2-2-1.
There he is. The only rider in Carural who's ridden the Tour de France before. The rest of the team are all making their debut in the race. So we will start to see some tactics of the sprinters' teams.
And there they are on the right-hand side of the road already. As we see Tom Pidcock coming back from the cars.
What needs to get back now before this sprint happens. Must admit, he's looking very, very comfortable.
Yeah, I was going to say, right on cue, he also has his new saddle design for him from Pologo. A lower stack, so a little bit like the TT saddles, trying to, again, optimize aero.
One rider had a problem with his saddle yesterday was Matthias Schelmoser, who snapped the saddle rails.
On the crash? Oh, no,
when he stopped. We thought it was a puncture. We couldn't understand why he'd stopped, but he actually snapped the saddle rails on the bike as opposed to having a puncture.
Oh.
2:32 now. The advantage for our three riders. Looking at the head of the peloton, Vingegaard up there on the left.
Also, X seems to be interested. They'll go with
Varenskold, maybe?
Oh, yes, I think so.
Soren Varenskold maybe looking for the green jersey. And their general manager has won the green jersey in the Tour de France before, and Thor Hushoff.
And he's actually won in Barcelona in 2009.
Yes.
Remember that stage.
So he should be able to give them a little pep talk this morning to help them try and win the green jersey points. 2 kilometres now to go to this important point, the first green jersey sprint of this year's race.
And I remember when Tour won, we were also finishing in Montjuic actually, but we didn't do the climb. It was just a drag up to the castle there. It was only a couple of 100 meters.
And it was slow motion, wasn't it?
Yes. And we're caught under this massive storm. Riders were crashing left, right, and centre on the boulevards on the straight line. There was so much water.
Pidcock at the back. He'll wait for the sprint, then he'll move back up with the team, and then he'll put himself back in position. Quinten Hermans is the rider helping him. Right on the back of the group here, number 183, Clement Brass Afonso, just won the King of the Mountains in the Tour Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, so he may well think he might want to win the King of the Mountains in this year's race. He did a really good job in Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes of just accumulating points nice and early as we get the first chance to see Lidl Trek move up. On the left-hand side, they've got one Ayuso in the Best Young Rider jersey, but now they're bringing their big firepower to the front as we head to Villa de Cannes. We're going to go past the Hermitage, the 11th century Hermitage, in a few moments. A little bit of land art there, but nothing amazing to speak of. I think I'll give that a 5 out of 10. Here is Lenny Martinez. Just trying to keep himself moving up towards the front of the race.
14 points left. So 25, 20 and 16 will go to the breakaway. And fourth rider over the line at the intermediate sprints will get 14 points.
2:30 now. They're looking around. Van den Broek checking over his shoulder. Engelhardt, and now the sprint starts. Frank van den Broek with Engelhardt on his wheel. 25 points on offer, and it's Engelhardt who's going to sprint through to take the first green jersey sprint. But Molinar now challenging for the team of Carriral. Is it going to be Molinar? It is Molinar. Molinar takes the first points in the green jersey of this year's Tour on a road stage. A very good sprint there from Molinar.
Yes, a good sprint. And although these riders are not interested in the green jersey, and unfortunately, or in the direct green jersey, because today there's more points at the finish than there is on the stage. There's 30 points at the finish, so the winner of the stage will be most likely in the green jersey, apart if they scored points yesterday. But there is also a financial gain at intermediate sprints, and this is why you will see riders in the breakaways going for the sprint, because there's a little bonus on those intermediate sprints.
Good start then for Carriral and Molinar as he takes those points. Now we wait for the sprint of the peloton. They're getting ready, 2.5 minutes behind as we look here at the front of the race now, and it's the team of Alpecin Premier Tech, former green jersey winner Jasper Philipsen with his team as he gets set. The team of Soudal Quickstep with Tim Malia in the orange. It's the team of NSN, the squad of Biniam Girmay. Girmay, I can't quite see him yet. He's tucked in there on the wheel.
Looks like Turgis is also in there for the battle.
He is a rider who likes to go for these green jersey points. There's the rundown. 14 points on offer now. The sprinters start to open up. Big attack of the team of Biniam Girmay. Girmay goes, and it's Biniam Girmay who's going to secure the maximum points for the team of NSN. And I have to say, Nico, Biniam Girmay made that look very, very easy.
Yes, he did. I was looking on the right-hand side of the surge of Philipsen, but no, Girmay was a lot quicker on the left. I think Pedersen maybe in second, Turgis in third or fourth, Philipsen third or fourth as well.
Looking at Mads Pedersen, let's just talk us through this sprint.
You see Girmay just going quite early actually, but Pedersen going from very far out. Yes, MCP Pedersen number 2, Philipsen third. Turgis, yeah, fourth, I'd say Merlier fifth.
And then just behind, was that Matthews?
Yes, or on the left, the rider from, is that
Oh yeah,
Astana?
one Astana rider, and the Astana rider was Ballerini who was up there. And now, having had that sprint, the team of Pinarello, Q36.5, come back to the front and normal services resumed. And for the first time, we see the king of the mountains, Tadej Pogačar. Sexas is also there because everyone has said from here on in is a little bit dicey.
And we're going to start going up again now. First KOM of the day, the Côte de Bergas, 6.1 kilometers at 6.5%. Second category climb.
Maybe Pogačar will go for the king of the mountains points. Let's wait and see whether he decides to just go for it all in this year's race.
There's not many points left for a second cat today, though, is there?
That's true. 2 minutes. No, it's not worth going for, is it? Unless they catch them on the climb. The top of this climb is 74.3 kilometres from the finish line. There's the use of the water bike. Frank van den Broek just takes a bottle on board just to make sure that it keeps us hydrated as possible. It's very, very warm in Barcelona and surrounding area today. Extremely hot.
Yeah, it's still over 35 degrees today.
There's the start of the climb. There's the vital statistics on the left-hand side. There's where we are on the route. As we start to climb up, then a little descent, and then we start to make our way in towards Montjuic and the final climbs of today. It's going fast, isn't it?
It is, yes. We're less than 2 hours to the finish now.
And these three riders keeping a nice pace. The average speed so far on today's stage, 46 kilometres an hour.
You can see the speed of the peloton now with the intermediate sprint. They've taken a minute out of, was it almost 5 kilometres?
In fact, the average speed has gone up. It's now 48.6. The wind is at 26 kilometres an hour, although it feels like you're opening an oven when you go into the wind right now. A lot of fans who have come out onto the road. Onto the climb then. Should we continue with our thoughts on the various different teams? We've got as far as the team of Lidl Trek. We talked about Red Bull, we talked about Visma, we talked about UAE Team Emirates. Lidl Trek is next.
So Lidl Trek, well, they're here with the overall goal with Ayuso, the Barcelona rider. They will also go for the green jersey with Mads Pedersen. As we see today, it was quite competitive in that first intermediate sprint. And with that, they have riders who are also capable of chasing stages. So I think Pedersen, obviously being quite aggressive, he'll be there in the sprints, although he's going for the green jersey in those latter stages. We know he can go into breakaways. Quinn Simmons is a breakaway specialist as well. And they'll be riding around Ayuso and Scalemoser for the GC. At the moment, unfortunately, Scalemoser lost a bit of time yesterday with the saddle break in the team time trial. As we have another look there at the sprint. Pedersen slightly moving out of the way there, but I'm surprised there wasn't more riders actually, as we see the radio.
Nice work, guys. Good job, Benny. Good job, guys.
Bit of a headwind there on that finish line of the intermediate sprint.
Pedersen went very, very early, didn't he? So split opportunities for the team of Lidl Trek then.
Yes, although Ayuso was the better rider yesterday, unfortunately for Scalemoser, who had a mechanical.
So they're going general classification, try and take the green jersey with Pedersen. Pedersen already showing that is his aim, and then we'll see what happens at the end of 3 weeks.
Breakaway with Captain America.
Yep. Oh, he'll definitely want a stage win, won't he? Quinn Simmons.
He'll try everything for that. So they have a busy 3 weeks. Lots of goals. And you will realise with the next few teams that the further down the GC they are, the more focus they have on different things than the yellow jersey. Lenny Martinez rided at France's biggest hope. Well, one of them with Texas, Vauclin. Del Toro just on the wheel there, Quinn Simmons. There's the yellow jersey on the bottom right. With Sepp Kuss, number 18. Campenard sitting just on the wheel with him.
We're just seeing the pink jerseys of EF Education Easy Post of Carapaz and that team. What's their aim in this race?
Well, initially I thought there might be a chance of Carapaz going for GC, but he said definitely not. I did think maybe Ben Healy was going to go for GC, but he also said definitely not. So their goal is to go for breakaways. And we know it's a team that is very good and very dangerous when they decide to go for breakaways.
Yeah.
They will literally reshape the peloton, how the breakaways are set. It's Castrillo.
Is Castrillo coming back or going out the back?
No, I think he's gone down for water because yes, hands up.
Okay.
Waiting for water. So they're definitely going for breakaways. And why not the mountains jersey?
Carapaz did say to us the other night he'd like to get the mountains jersey. Jonathan Vaughters, who's the general manager of the team, has said that Ben Healy is the best breakaway rider in the world. That's his That's his conclusion.
Nice had a puncture.
Castrillo now waiting for the team car. Just waiting for the mechanic. Swaps the wheel over. Very relaxed, Castrillo, no stress whatsoever. Makes it very easy for the mechanic. Doesn't sit over the bike. Lets him do his job, and he'll get going again.
It's quite nice to see a rider step off the bike. We'll see loads of the riders who are still on the bike and make it very difficult for the mechanics to maneuver.
Getting up towards the midway point of this climb now. I was thinking about the way that the wheel changes happen. I was watching the other night a documentary about Kimi Antonelli, about when he became the main driver in Formula One, and how many months the team, because they'd chosen a 17-year-old kid to drive a Formula One car, how many months they trained him to learn how to drive a Formula One Grand Prix, because he had no idea. And he was going to go straight in, beginning of the season, to drive a Formula One car. And they spent so much time on one particular thing. And that one particular thing, as we just see this incredible castle up here on the rocky outcrop, here as we head up towards the top, here in the Garaf Natural Park, which is a park established in 1986. One thing they spent hours and days on was going in and doing a pit stop. And I was thinking about that just now, about how you've said riders still stand over the bike, make the mechanic's job really, really difficult. Actually waste more time in trying to get back into the race. And all these little things add up to lots of energy loss. And if you puncture 10 times during the tour and you have to chase for a half a minute longer or a minute longer, that's another 10 minutes you might have spent in the peloton saving energy, as Arnaud Delis is going out the back already on this climb with nearly 80k to go. This is not a good moment for Delis. The legs are giving out. Baptiste Weisstroffer is waiting for him. They're not even going that rapidly right now, and Delis is in all sorts of difficulty. But if you look at, coming back to that, if you look at a mechanic and his job, teams don't really practice wheel changes, do they? But it could save you, on a tiny little marginal gain, 8 to 10 minutes of chasing in a whole tour.
But again, it's not. You kind of do practice wheel changes, and it's something the mechanics have been changing wheels from the days in mechanic. So it's not you come out to the tour and you've never done a wheel change in your life. Some mechanics are better at doing it than others, the same way some riders are better doing some things than others. But you don't practice the wheel change, but you do it with experience over years and years of doing your job.
You wonder whether, if you did practice them, that you would get better, faster, and more efficient, and actually save the riders a little bit of energy, or not?
No,
it's not the same thing.
You could see how quickly it is, and now with the disc wheel, you have to be a bit more cautious when you're putting the wheel back in. But there's not much. It's only a screw to take in, to take out. There's no adjustments to be made. It's the same as when the Formula One they come and change their tires. It could be done so quickly because it's just changing screws. And the same is happening here. There's no adjustments to be made. It gets complicated when you have to do adjustments.
Team of Decathlon moving up on the left-hand side with Paul Sexas and the rest of the squad. And we're just about to talk about them. What is the aim of the team on the left-hand side in the... Is it Celeste or is it mint green?
I mean, even with Bianchi, I won't say Celeste because I thought that belonged to them.
Yes, okay.
But it is kind of Celeste.
William Gamay in the cars after taking the green jersey points. What are Decathlon CMA CGM aiming at?
So they're going for GC with Sexas. I do think they also have a chance in the sprints with Olaf Koy. I think he's one of the fast riders in the peloton. We know he was one of the expensive transfers last year of the team. They invested a lot in him. They got Mark Renshaw in the team as well to help with the sprints. So they have invested in their sprints team as well with the classics, and I think he is here today. He won't be doing much help for Sexas, so he is here to try and get stage wins for the team in the sprints. And the rest of the team, we've seen them yesterday in the team time trial. They're all kind of skinny climbers, and they're there exclusively to help Sexas in the mountains and the GC goals. Knowing AG Tour, the teams that like to go into the breakaway, especially in the second and third week of the tour, so I wouldn't be surprised that they send riders in the breakaway too. It'd be intriguing to see now with Luke Rowe, my former teammate, who's taking a bigger role in the team. One of the riders that had a lot of experience, great with tactics. So it'll be interesting to see how he can bring something new to the team, or if they're going to try and do what they did before, but just better, which is again going to the breakaway and ride GC with riders who can jump in from breakaways and stuff like that.
Shows how much that team has changed. When you look down at the list of teams and riders, Decathlon, CMA, CGM, a French team, their sports directors are Luke Rowe, British, Mark Renshaw, Australian. That's totally different.
Well, I remember I was in Decathlon, AG Tour at the time in 2009 to 2012. And the condition was, if you're a foreign rider and you want to ride for a French team, you need to learn French. Okay. And that's how it was back then. It was all about, we're French, but it was the same everywhere. When you went into a Spanish team, you had to speak Spanish. When you went to an Italian team, and that was the thing, but also if you had to think about 15 years ago, there wasn't so many nationalities in cycling. There was 4 Italian World Tour teams, there was a couple of Spanish World Tour teams, a couple of French teams. Now the teams are very international. Riders don't only come from the main cycling background, they come from minor countries in terms of cycling history. And the language of cycling, which was French or Italian, those were the 2 languages that was spoken in the peloton. There was very, very little English until Team Sky came in, and then the Australians came in, obviously, with Green Edge and Garmin with the Americans, and then suddenly we went from no one speaking English to half the bunch speaking English. Over 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
But back then, to go back to the team of AG Tour, it was like, if you want to sign for a French team, you got to learn French, mate. And that was the condition. Now it's the opposite. They had to release some of the sports directors who couldn't learn English to bring in international sports directors. One of the good thing is they've realized when they had Ben O'Connor a couple of years, who publicly said, I left because I was done, I couldn't speak French, and I was done. Everything was done in French. I just couldn't, I'm sorry, I couldn't learn French. I wanted to be an international to speak English. And decided he left, and he said that was one of the things he said publicly.
Yeah.
So now it's the total opposite. The team is very international, but most teams are international now. It's very. You don't see so many teams who are really regionally close with the set language and the set amount of riders from a certain type of nationality.
And also, the rumor is that Ben O'Connor is going back to Decathlon.
Well, I don't think he's done that much better since he's left.
No.
It'd be interesting to see how Romain Bardet, who's coming into the position of performance manager, at the beginning of next year. He'll be here at the tour next week. I called him yesterday to see if he was at the start, but he said he wasn't here. He'll be coming at the start of the second week, and he will be starting from 2027 as a performance manager. So technically Luke Rowe's boss, and then Luke Rowe will be second in charge.
Yes. Here is Delis. This is not looking good for Arnaud Delis right now. He is a rider in difficulty. He's arrived here with some illness.
I'd be afraid he'd be lapped.
It's a possibility, isn't it?
There is a possibility. I will start looking now at the time coefficient today. How much minutes can he afford losing? But more than the minutes he will lose, there might be a chance of him being lapped, because laps are pretty.
If you get lapped, you're out. I'll get this banana out of the way. We all like a banana, but not when they're running alongside the peloton. There's not much space up here, is there? It's a big crowd on this climb, and we're almost at the top now. As there's our breakaway group of riders, led by the German champion Engelhard. Behind him, Molenaar. Then it's Frank Vandenbroek. We're heading up to the King of the Mountains. 260 metres to go now. Vandenbroek looks like he's set to try and take the King of the Mountains points for the team of Picnic Post NL Raisin. He's looking to try and get something out of this race for this squad. They've had a troubled year. They are really not firing as far as victories are concerned, but can they get a jersey? That's what they're looking for. Oh, Molenaar slipped his gears or something, and Vandenbroek isn't happy, or Vandenbroek might have done the same. In fact, I think he might have snapped the chain or something.
No, he's pedaling.
Something's happened. Molenaar goes over the top of the first King of the Mountains of today's stage, and he takes the maximum points. What happened to Vandenbroek?
I think he just didn't have the legs, and now he's waiting for the peloton, who was 25 seconds behind.
It's incredible how quick the peloton has ridden up this climb, and they have brought back 2 minutes nearly over the top of the climb for the peloton.
So it's a short-ish descent. It's more of a drag down than a descent, and then it will pick up again into Olisa. Well, at the bottom, sorry, it will at the start from Olisa. And that will be about another 3 kilometer kind of drag up, and then we'll have a long descent until 45 kilometers to go. And that will quickly be into Barcelona. Let's have a look here. No, I think it's cramps.
Well, he must have cramped up.
Yeah, it looks like he just had sore legs there. You could just see him stop pedaling and the mouth wide open.
They're not having a good time, this squad. The team is just not there this season, which is really unusual. 25 seconds. The peloton is bringing this race back together. They're not bothered anymore about wait until 10k to go or anything like that. They're going to bring the race back together as quickly as they possibly can. 25 seconds. .4 kilometers to go. We go through, which is this town? We've gone through Villa de Can, and we've gone to Begues. Hello to Marta, who's having lunch at the side of the road with her gran, if she's listening. 24 seconds, and we're going to hear now about the Spanish winners of the Tour de France.
There are 7 Spanish riders who have conquered the world's biggest bike race: Bahamontes, Ocaña, Delgado, Indurain, Herrero, Contador and Sastre. Between them, they boast 12 overall victories at the Tour de France. The first Spaniard to win the race was Federico Bahamontes, an incredible climber who won the mountains classification 6 times. He was nicknamed the Eagle of Toledo after his home region. In 1959, thanks to his victory in the uphill time trial on the Puy de Dôme, he was able to beat the likes of Jacques Anquetil and Charlie Gould to win the Tour. "14 years later, another climber followed in his footsteps. Luis Ocaña was born in Spain but raised over the border in France, in Mont-de-Marsan. In 1973, he made the most of Eddy Merckx's absence to win a very mountainous tour ahead of Bernard Thévenet. Another 15 years went by before Pedro Delgado became the 3rd Spanish winner in 1988. Victory in the uphill time trial between Grenoble and Villard-de-Lans was crucial to his success. The next Spanish win came just 3 years later, as Miguel Indurain kicked off a period of absolute domination. Combining raw power with remarkable endurance, He reigned supreme in the time trial and matched the all-time tour record by winning 5 times between 91 and 95. He remains the only man to have won 5 in a row. Spain had another period of dominance between 2006 and 2009, with 3 different riders sharing 4 victories. Oscar Pereiro was declared the winner in 2006 after Floyd Landis was stripped of the title for doping. Alberto Contador took his 2 wins in 07 and 09. A solid time trialist and an excellent climber, El Pistolero beat Cadel Evans by just 23 seconds in 07 and then Andy Schleck by over 4 minutes in 09.
Yes, to go.
In 2008, victory went to Carlos Sastre. After a surprise solo attack on the Alpe d'Huez on stage 17, he took the yellow jersey from his teammate Frank Schleck and kept it until Paris.
70 kilometres of racing to go on stage 2 of this year's tour. 33 seconds now for our breakaway riders. That has diminished in numbers from 3 to 2, but now there's a real concerted push from the various different squads, because it's going to get a little bit dicey down here. Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe wanting to try and take the inside line as we make our way through that particular turn. And now there is a real flat-out bit of bike racing as the big squads try and position their leaders at the front of this race. A lovely video there of the various Spanish winners of the Tour de France. I'm sure long-term fans will remember their moment where they saw a Spanish victor. For me, for the one of Carlos Sastre at the top of the Alpe d'Huez was a memorable one for me. I was on a bridge across the top of Alpe d'Huez having lunch when he roared underneath, and I was with the team of CSC and Cervelo that day, which was pretty special to witness. As inside the team, we got to watch the riders as they piled their way up Alpe d'Huez for Sastre to clinch the yellow jersey, then ultimately secure it in the time trial the next day before he raced into Paris. 41 seconds is the lead for the breakaway. Nico, we're on the descent now, which you said is going to be pretty rapid for a while. And then when we get down to around 60 to 55 kilometres to go, Luis Angelmarte, who's ridden a tour like you on many occasions, he rode and knows this area as well. He rode it this morning, said that it's a little dangerous as far as he's concerned when you get to a bit of an industrial area with around about 50-odd kilometres to go.
Yes, indeed. At the bottom of the descent, that looks like you're in the middle of the woods. You arrive into the outskirts of Barcelona, and it becomes very, very industrialized. Lots of factory, lots of warehouses. He mentioned, and I think he is correct, that obviously hasn't rained here a lot. You have to be careful. A bit of oil could be on the roads from all the trucks going through and in and out of these big industrial areas. Lucky enough, the roads are going to be quite wide. It's a bit more exposed to the wind as well before we get into Barcelona city. But again, all this information, the riders will have them in the earpiece.
Little moments of positioning now with 68 kilometres to go. It's quite an important point in the race, isn't it, as we head towards Barcelona now?
It is, because we've seen on some occasions descents make more damage than the other climbs. And this is why you see a lot of the riders just fighting for position, to be really at the front. Don't take any risk. Be able to choose their line. See, Richard Carapaz is waiting here for the car.
Carapaz rolling this way downhill.
Oh, what's your bottle in the middle there?
Don't want to hit a bottle, do you? That could. We've seen Geraint Thomas drop out of a Grand Tour by hitting a bottle. You have to be very, very careful. The EF going back to their pink Cadillac and getting themselves ready for the final stages of the race.
And that's something we see more and more in the peloton for the last 4 or 5 years. Riders actually do go back in. Oh, that was close to the car there. Do go back to the car to drop their own bottles.
Yeah, that's something you would have never seen before. Carapaz getting some more ice. Being a bit careful here because these twists and turns, you don't want to get closer than he is to that car. Another rider who might have a chance of winning today is the white jersey, Wane Yuso. He did a great ride yesterday as we look at this incredible natural park. Let's hear now from Wane Yuso.
No, I mean, I really enjoyed the course yesterday. There's so much people on the roads, and it was a discipline I think I also enjoyed because with the team we worked really hard to get it right. As you say, we were a bit unlucky with the mechanical Skelly that made probably would have done the difference in the final. But you know, it is what it is, and I think still the team did an amazing job, especially Mads and Vacek. So yeah, we're still in a very good position heading into today, and I hope I'm really ready for today because it's going to be brutal.
Yeah, what's the plan for today? What will you hope for? Kind of race we will for today?
I think first and all is arrive safe, survive, because I think today is probably one of the most stressful days we're going to have in the whole tour because it's the only stage which is like more type of a classic type, whereas yeah, the next stages of the tour are a bit more clear on how they're going to evolve. So this one's going to be a stressful one. It's going to be a hard one. It's going to be a tricky final. So I hope I'm there in the final. Hope I have good legs, and hope with the team we can be in front. Thank you.
Wane Yuso looking to try and do a good performance today for his team. He's already riding well. He's 4th place overall at 16 seconds. Still our breakaway continues at only 22 seconds now. Thank you very much for all your messages. Marion Ford, Johan Laubser, Adrienne Hills, thank you very much for being in touch. Troy Whalen as well, thank you for watching the Tour de France with us. 22 seconds. Next on the horizon for the riders is into Barcelona, onto the Montjuic climb for the first time. We'll climb it on 3 occasions. There are King of the Mountains points on that climb, and we'll see how this race plays out. It looks like the breakaway is kind of just being played with, really. Molenaar took the points, 5 points to Engelhardt's 3, Vandenbroek took 2, and Josh Tarling took 1 point at the top of that climb for the team of Netcompany Ineos. Really just there to put their riders into the right position ahead of the run-in to Barcelona. Bit of food for Molenaar. Probably time to cue in Nico and tell us what he would be eating if he was here in Barcelona, a place that he knows very well and spends a lot of time in. What would you decide to have for dinner here in Barcelona, Nico? Because I know everybody's waiting to decide what things they need to make the recipe.
So let's start with, I was going to say starters. The pa en tomate. Sorry for my pronunciation. I've kind of fluent in Spanish, but I haven't totally managed Catalan yet. I am working on it.
You are?
So it's a rustic bread rubbed with ripped tomato, drizzled with olive oil and sprinkled with a bit of salt. So for vegan friends, you could start with a bit of pan con tomato, which is the more common way of saying it.
We had that for breakfast.
Yes, it's very popular for breakfast, yeah. And you could also put a bit of so the Iberic ham in it as well. It was funny when I moved initially to Spain the first time in 2013, and I'd go training with Alberto Contador. I was under I was going to say a more non-Spanish culture. When we stopped for a coffee stop, I'd be looking for something sweet, and maybe a tart or pain au chocolat coming from France as well. And Alberto would always have the bread with tomato, the pan with tomato, and I was told I'm from the old years where tomato was supposed to be too acidic for you when you were training, and they were trying to, but then there was proofs that it was also helping for inflammation. But anyway, I was always surprised to see Alberto have pan con tomate on his training rides. But it is a Spanish dish from here from Barcelona.
But have you had it?
I've had it, yeah, very, very common.
Yeah, I've had it on not a training ride, but rides in Mallorca, where you stop and you have bread, tomato, and ham, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and you can have it any time of the day.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the starter.
That's the starter, yes. Bombes. So it's a Barcelona specialty. Originating in the Barcelona neighborhood, it's a crispy potato ball stuffed with minced meats topped with spicy sauce and garlic oil. A lot of garlic around here.
There is a lot of garlic around here. More than France, I would say.
More than France, yes. The fideuà. So the fideuà is very similar to paella, but it's made with noodles instead of rice. And again, you could have it with, they have it with snails here. They could have it with rabbit, but they also have it just plain. So once again, I know every year I get a lot of requests for vegetarian or vegan options. It's not always easy in France, especially when you're in the middle of France. There's not much veggies growing out there.
No.
But when I can, I'll try and share some of the recipes here. And obviously the paella, which is the older alternative of the fideuà, which originally comes from Valencia. So Valencia also is named País Catalán, which is it's kind of half claimed from Barcelona. It's kind of a transition between Barcelona and the actual Valencia Alicante area, which is really weird because at the beginning when they were trying to explain it to me, I was still confused. Like I thought Valencia was Valencia. I was like, no, it's not Catalunya, but they call it the País Catalán.
Okay.
But a lot of its food culture are shared with Valencia and Barcelona. Then you would have what is extremely famous here, especially in the winter, is called the calçot. And the calçot are grilled spring onion dripped in rich romesco sauce. So quite rich food around here. Lots of carbs. Well, I mean, or fats.
Yeah.
And again, it's traditionally enjoyed during the winter and the early springs. It's something that I was promised to have all spring every time I came to Barcelona, and I've never managed to have it. And then I was told it was too late in the year to have crispy onions. I was like, okay, fair enough. The other one is the botifarra, and the botifarra is a traditional pork sausage often served with white beans. And I've had that, and that's again, I recommend it more when it's 10 degrees than when it's 38 degrees like today.
That's not something for today, is it? Surely. Okay.
Sorry for my pronunciation, esqueixada is a salad made with skewered salt cod, tomatoes, onion, olives, and peppers.
That sounds good.
That sounds very like we could have that tonight. Although we are going into the 20s. Oh.
For Isaac Del Toro. Bike change required for Isaac Del Toro, and he's still there.
And he cycled back the other way. I don't know. Ooh.
What is going on with Del Toro here?
Yeah, you're not supposed to cycle back.
Has he gone back? He's ridden back down the road.
Yeah, to Carnum. Or was the mechanic that was riding back?
There's Del Toro. He's had a problem, and he is a long way behind. This is not good news for Team of UAE, because I heard this call on the radio about a minute and a half ago, and then I thought it was a mistake. But it isn't. Del Toro has got a bit of a problem because he's got to chase now and get himself back into this tour, and the pace is high and there are no cars.
No, and it looks like he's not on bike number 2 because there's no numbers on it.
No.
The straight.
Wow, that was close. Del Toro managing to get round that turn. He's in the cars. That's good news that Del Toro is still in the convoy. But is he behind the convoy with the Lee and the others? Or is he behind the peloton's convoy?
No, this is a little drag. That will be quite good for him to get into position. Unfortunately, there's the other part of the descent. But this is why the cars were kind of grouped up.
Here's Del Toro on the wheel of the Jayco Alula car as he just tries to work his way up towards the front now of the race.
So although it is illegal to be in the back of your own car, there still is this one of the few little unwritten rules with some of the more old school sports directors that you kind of have this thing where it's in the mechanical, you do help the riders who are coming from behind. Obviously when it's a race incident, you're out. But there still is, you will see often cars slowing down to help a rider from another team when he's in the cavalcade to make it back to the front. But it's very dangerous driving there from a sports director who's putting him on the wrong side of the road. It's not like letting the gap for Del Toro to get in between the cars.
He's saying to his team car, you come up. But he's doing all right on his own at the moment, isn't he? I think they're waiting for Del Toro.
Yes, Pollitt.
Nils Pollitt comes back.
You can see the peloton's also totally slowed down at this point. They realized they went a little bit too nervous on the previous climb, and they went back to 25 seconds onto that breakaway, and they realized they don't need to bring that breakaway back yet.
Del Toro's still at 1:49 behind the front of the race, so he's a minute and 12 seconds off the back of this peloton right now, which is still a significant gap.
Yes, but I think he's also had the information from his team. You can see he's quite chill. He's going to take a bit of ice, take a couple of meter sticky bottles here and there. Yeah, there's a car, the doctor, so he's coming back to commissary cars. So he's on that's probably car number 2 now, so he's still quite far in the back of the cavalcade. Still has about 15-20 cars to go up.
It's chaos, isn't it?
It's a narrow road.
Machin Fernandez is the driver of this car, I think. Look how close they are together as he tries to get through that particular section to look after Del Toro.
And that was good driving by the car driver there of NSM, who realized there was a right-hand turn, so he stopped on the outside to make sure that Del Toro could get around the corner.
Machin just pulling the wing mirror in there as he goes past the TV bike as well, and working his way into the race as fast as possible. You are seeing what the convoy is like right now in the Tour de France.
Yes.
Chaos.
Although I do think that Machin is pushing a little bit too hard in the cars there. And there's no need. Del Toro has everything under control. The peloton is going, as you can see, at a quite slow pace. Riders are still asking for service. You can see there.
I think he'll be back any minute.
Any minute, yeah. That's why he's not even panicking. It was a bit of panicking to get the bike, but once he has the information that there's a bit of a drag, it's always easier for a rider like Del Toro to come back when there's a climb rather than the fast descent, where the peloton stretches out, but also where the cavalcade stretches out, and the cars give themselves a lot more space.
Tell you what, you don't want your feet at the side of the road here right now.
No, it's definitely made me hungry for dessert now.
Yeah, dessert.
So dessert.
In the peloton going downhill, Del Toro is still chasing. 2 riders in the breakaway, and they are just going through the feed zone, Nico.
So, crème catalan's probably not on their menu for them tonight, but crème catalan is a Catalan version of the French crème brûlée, flavored with lemon zest and cinnamon, topped with a caramelized sugar crust.
That's tasty, isn't it?
That is very tasty.
Yeah. And that's dessert.
Yes.
Here's Del Toro.
We are also in quite a popular wine region, but I want to keep that for tomorrow, because we go more deeper into that wine region tomorrow. But we did go past the Penedès wine region today, which is very famous for its cava, which is the Spanish equivalent of champagne.
Del Toro is back. He's with Nils Pollitt now. Pollitt will bring Del Toro back up to the front of the race. Del Toro just in the wheels, and they want to make sure they position him back at the head of this peloton, although look how it's spread out in one long line right now. But Del Toro looks really easy, no panic. They go into the feed. The breakaway is at 43 seconds now. Yellow jersey Jonas Vingegaard on the right-hand side. So that's dinner.
And lunch.
And lunch. And breakfast if you want pan con tomate. Thank you, Nico. Thank you to all of you who message us about that particular little section that we do every single day of the Tour de France. As we go around the different regions, we're able to give you an idea of what you might decide to eat for dinner that night. And I know some of you even, I've had people saying that they wait for this section and then they order the ingredients online and get them delivered that night so they can cook dinner. Why not?
And we see Matteo Jorgensen in the front here. There was a lot of questions yesterday. Why did he have a black helmet? Very easy. It was because the team wanted to know where he was in the line. And there's Jorgensen's like, okay guys, we'll take it easy. It's a long descent. It's not about adding pressure. It's about being in position. Once you're in position, you're safe. You don't need to put extra stress again. So a good job there by Jorgensen trying to calm things down at the front. But yeah, so yesterday, the idea of having Jorgensen with a black helmet was to be able to notice him and to know where he was in the line of riders if things went wrong or at certain points. And the same way it was easier to spot Vingegaard with his now red helmet, they could pick up they could pick up Jorgensen with the black helmet.
The reason they wanted that is that they knew they needed Jorgensen to be there for the descent, because they had worked out that if they had 3 60-odd kilo riders, so Vingegaard, Sepkus and Piganzoli going down that descent, they would have lost time, and they needed to make sure that Jorgensen could do a big turn down that descent, and then they knew he'd lose about 2 minutes. And they talked that through with him, and he knew that he'd lose about 2 minutes by the finish line, but they think that was the difference.
And we saw it happen. We saw Jorgensen go to the front, and then at some point we thought that Pizzari was out, and then next thing he's back in the screen, and Jorgensen has switched off. So everything was, what we saw on TV was just planned to perfection. Good job from them yesterday. So this is the part where they go through the industrial estate that Mate was talking about earlier on.
You can see how twists and turns it goes, quite sinuous as we work our way downhill towards Barcelona now, and then we will head into Barcelona and start to think about the climbs. The top of the first climb, 26.9 kilometres from the conclusion of today's stage. So it's still quite a way to go, but in the meantime we're going to take a little look at a portrait of the youngest rider in the race, Paul Sexas. Let's hear about him now.
Are you a bit surprised by all the enthusiasm and attention you're attracting?
The Frenchman, Sexas, becomes the youngest ever winner in 90 editions of Flèche Wallonne.
You never really get used to it.
This rider is exceptional. This rider is right at the top of his game.
This year I really had the ambition of riding a Grand Tour. At the same time, I was telling myself it's almost too early to make that dream come true, because it's still a childhood dream, but in the end, it's never too early. The real question was whether, if you ride the Tour, you know it's going to be a brutal test. So you have to be ready physically and mentally.
Remco Evenepoel is hanging on for dear life.
Especially emotionally.
He completely blew up. He cracked.
I'd rather approach the Tour by first telling myself how I'm going to manage these 3 weeks. I'll have to be a bit more restrained, more observant, and of course make sure I'm always well positioned.
They all look across, and Remco checks to see where Jonas Vingegaard is.
There's no big pressure in terms of results, but I'm targeting the GC, and I'll give it my all to finish as high as possible. For you are Tadej Pogačar and Jonas Vingegaard. That's a good question, but they're truly great riders in my eyes.
Here's the attack, and immediately Paul Sexas responds to Tadej Pogačar.
On the bike, there are no friends. On the bike, they're rivals. There are no idols. When it's race time, it's race time.
Pogačar again is putting in another big blow.
Away from the race, of course, there's admiration for guys like them.
Paul Sexas, second in Liège-Bastogne-Liège on his debut.
Do they intimidate you at all? No, they don't intimidate me. I don't let myself be intimidated that easily.
Two riders in the breakaway, 51.8 kilometres to go. Engelhard and Molenaar still maintaining their advantage, doing well, growing their advantage back to 45 seconds. Let's just take another look here. Team radio coming up of Isaac Del Toro. Let's just take a look here at what happened.
It's a mechanic cycling back up. That's good then. I thought there was something strange when I saw cycling back up. So he wanted the bike from the other, so that's why he's on the... Yeah, there he goes. The mechanic that cycled back up.
So he wanted the bike from the other car. Here's the team radio.
Guys, here's a Isaac is back.
Just an update then for the team that Isaac Del Toro is back in the race, an important update. 50 kilometres of racing to go. Things are starting to hot up. 46 seconds is now the advantage for the breakaway. I'd like to come back to the Paul Sexas portrait. Nico, I remember we spoke about Paul Sexas being selected for the Tour de France. And many people had said he's too young. Why would you ride the Tour at 19? And I remember asking you that question, and you gave me a pretty straight answer about it, because you've been there, you know what that means to ride the Tour. And you gave me a different answer to what had really been written and said about Sexas, and he's kind of mirrored your thoughts on why he should ride.
Well, I think he gave a very mature interview when you think about it. He's a 19-year-old young adult, and he gave a speech of a team leader. I think it's everything he said had his weight. He's not intimidated by his opposition, but he respects him. Is it too soon? I didn't think so. I think there's a moment where I think he is ready. He said he's more worried about the emotions rather than the actual physical part. If things go wrong, they go wrong, but if it goes well, it could go amazingly well. And I also think years go past in cycling, and what if next year he's not in that shape? What if next year, the year after, he crashes? What if the year after, I don't know. There's so many variables from year to year. He is in the best shape so far. I was going to say of his life, but it's so far because it's just so young now. I can't see why there was any wrong for him to not do it. And I think physically he's proven that he can do it. Is he going to win the Tour de France this year, next year, in 5 years? Nobody knows. Can it be a proper challenge to Tadej Pogacar in this year Tour de France? I think it'll be a challenge. How much of a challenge? For how many days? Or to Vingegaard, because the Vingegaard is in yellow today. But I think it's great for the Tour for him to be here as well. I think French were looking forward to seeing someone. And at 19, if he fails, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
I think it's all bonus. A lot of punctures again.
A lot of punctures. Quinn Simmons has punctured. Kwiatkowski has punctured on this run-in. The mechanic running around the other side of the roof rack to get the bike as quickly as possible. Simmons is back and underway. Gets moving. He knows this area very well. He lives not too far away, and he's won a stage of Volta Catalunya in his career as well. This is the Chateau de Cervelo that we're going past. 13th century. As we fly over, founded by Guillaume de Cervelo, the Baron of this particular area. Population of just 9,500 people, and I think we're just going over the Church of Santa Maria, 13th century church, built at the same time as the structure alongside. Site of national cultural interest. This is Kwiatkowski.
And he's got his device, the transponder, totally broken.
Yeah, it's just hanging off. It's about to fall off any minute, isn't it? Don't want that to go in the gears or in the wheel, if it does. He's obviously had a big problem then. 1:53 to Kwiatkowski, 55 to the peloton, 46.4 kilometres to go. So you're very much of the opinion, ride the Tour, things can go wrong in your career later on, take the opportunity now, see what you can do, take the experience. You might win the Tour in the future, you might not.
I think he has nothing to lose to ride the Tour. And like I said, things will go amazingly well for him. And if things go wrong, you can't hold a grudge on a 19-year-old for not winning the Tour. So even if every citizen in France hoped that he is the next Bernardino or whatever, if he doesn't do it by the age of 19 and a half, it's not the end of the world. So even if the expectations are high and everybody wants him, he is still only 19. So I think he's there. He will get experience. He will know. He will feel the Tour. I mean, I'm very biased. I love the Tour, and I cycled for the Tour. I wanted to be pro to ride the Tour. And so for me to say, oh, you should ride a Tour is easy because that was my dream. His dream is to win the Tour is even better. But I don't think there's anything wrong in him riding the Tour de France. Although, yes, if you look at his passport, date of birth, he is very young.
He is. What do you think of the rumour that he's been offered 13 million euros to ride for Pinarello?
Well, if I was a billionaire, the offer would make sense. And so I don't think the offer... I've heard various rumours. I've heard rumours that the offer wasn't made and it wasn't exact numbers. But in another way, if you start doing the maths, a lot of the teams now are owned by very wealthy people who owns hundreds of million euro yachts. So spending a little bit more to have what is today potentially the next Tour de France rider in the next 5 or 6 years. But then you read the interview of the manager of Del Toro, and obviously he's trying to build things up. He says, why do you want to spend 30 million on Sexas? Spend a bit of money on Del Toro, because I think Del Toro is the next big thing. So there's one thing you read in the media, and there's one thing you have to... But I wouldn't be surprised at the numbers or around that his offer is actually... So the surprise is... Not the surprise, but the... Why everybody talks about that number, because it is just above Tadej Pogacar's salary at the moment. This is why everyone had that number in mind, and that's why everyone talked about that number.
See if it happens.
And this is the town where I usually come quite often now, down in Munins-Ray. Quite friendly with the... was on the bike with the mayor yesterday.
Wait.
Yeah, with Luis Mate, who's also quite friendly with the mayor. And we were going to go up this climb that we talked about yesterday, the Tibidabo, where the amusement park is on top. But unfortunately, instead of going straight up, now they're going to go right and make their way into Barcelona.
Population of 27,000 people here in Molins-de-Ray. Lovely little town as we make our way through here. Famous festival, Feira de Candelara here, was established by Queen Isabella II in 1852. We're going to hear now from Chris Nielands.
Chris, what is going to happen today?
We will find out. I'm also curious what is going to happen. Super hot outside. I think the most important thing is to stay hydrated. But definitely, this is the Tour, and we can be sure that it's gonna be chaotic day.
Is it a good day to be in a breakaway or not really?
I don't think so. That's not the goal. Of course, obviously, we have to see what the big teams want to do. Are they controlling from the start or not? But I don't really think it's going to be a breakaway day.
Chris Nielands, not a day to be in the breakaway as far as he's concerned. It's all going to be about the favourites and what kicks off in the centre of Barcelona. That's what we're all thinking, isn't it?
Yes. And again, it's funny the way he says, oh, it will depend on what the big teams are thinking, because if you see those big teams controlling the race, you just know there's no point of trying. So again, you could just see he's a rider who's been in the Tour before, and it's not only about what your team have planned, but it's also you have to adapt your tactics and see how the feeling the bunches at the start line.
The bottom of the climb is 28.5 kilometres from the finish, the first climb of the day, or the second climb of the day, but the first climb in Montjuic. So we're not too far away now, are we? 14 kilometres, big wide road into Barcelona. Kwiatkowski coming back, talking to the team car, popping some ice down his jersey as well to keep him cool, and also to hand out to the rest of the team. Very experienced rider. You can see there the rainbow bands around the cuffs of the jersey as a former world champion. Has fond memories of Spain. He won it in Ponferrada in 2014. Clement Brassel-Fonso just rides back in for the team of Groupama FDJ United. Tudor Pro Cycling, one rider at the back. But this is a bit chaotic, isn't it, now, where you've got this huge wide road and so much space.
And the reason why it's starting to feel a bit nervous there at the front of the peloton is, yes, we're going into Barcelona, but it's going to get narrower. in not too long, actually. In about, I'd say about less than 2 kilometers, it will go from this kind of almost 4-lane road, and this is why they're sprinting. They're coming down to a little roundabout, and then it will get narrow into Barcelona. There's a little roundabout.
So it's quite tricky now, and if you're trying to understand what is going on, Nico, it's all about positioning now, isn't it? You can see the different teams in their colours.
Yes, it's about having your team leader in a more safe position in the front of the peloton.
And they're moving up now through another roundabout. Problem here.
Puncture.
And a puncture for the decathlon rider. This is Olav Koy, a sprinter of the team of decathlon. Koy just trying to get himself back on the bike as quick as possible. Cooling himself down as he stands there, very relaxed. Olav Koy, good to see him back. He's had a very difficult start to his career with decathlon CMA CGM. Oh, the fans are right in the road as the riders come through here at a very, very high pace. Campenaerts over there on the left-hand side now takes control for the team of the yellow jersey, Jonas Vingegaard. Big speed bumps as well that we bump over at a very high tempo.
Yes, this is one of the difficulties of this final. There's a lot of speed bumps. Later on, they'll be crossing multiple times tram lines. Every time you have a very urban circuit, you have to be cautious with all these little speed bumps. All these center aisles. Although there's not too many center aisles into the run-in. I came in from this road this morning to the finish here in Montjuic.
But you've just got so many people at the side of the road. You've just got to be a little bit careful. We're going into San Feo de Llobregat, past the cathedral there. This area has had a cathedral since 2004. The building was made from cement and sand from the Llobregat, the river, which the parishioners transported by cart from the river itself. On the front end, the two riders in the breakaway. They've done a magnificent job. Paul Sexas has a problem now.
It's a bike change.
Bike change, but he's going on his teammate's bike because of the situation. He's taken Aurélien Paripant's bike, so this is not good news for Paul Sexas as he has to change onto a teammate's bike.
Yeah, it's he's put his Garmin his head unit into the back pocket. It's a little bit low, but it's not the worst bike change he could have had. You could just see the position there, the knee not fully opening, but obviously the team car was stopped with the other riders, so they're stuck in traffic at the back. But he's still cool, he still knows he has a bit of time. Not a lot of time, but a bit of time. This is the only problem now, is with all the road furniture and the change of directions. You have to be cautious with the cars. There you go, a little tap on the shoulder. Good job. Thanks for being up the road with me today.
The shake of hands, the end of the breakaway. Felix Engelhardt on the left, Alex Molinar on the right. It's the end of today's break.
Yes, and this is also, you could just see in the front there, the peloton, things have slowed down a little bit. Once the position, the big problem is when you have the battle for position. Once the position are made, then it's about holding position. And you kind of slow down once the positions are hold, because you don't need to overlap each other. So there's kind of this agreement. You always have some more experienced riders who will tell the peloton to slow down. The odd time you will see the hands going out of the side of the riders saying up and down, saying slow down, it's okay, it's okay. And there will be, that's good news for Sexas, because he'll be able to come back. He will need to change his bike though. But at the moment, the car of Decathlon is in the back with the other change with Coy.
Yeah, because he's not going to stay on that bike to the end of the race, is he?
No, I wouldn't think so. It's, like I said, it's not the worst change they've had. The position looks pretty much okay, but still, when everything is done by the millimeter, if you're a centimeter off, it's a lot. You might be able to survive it today, but you'll feel it tomorrow. So I think, it's still just about an hour of racing. He has time to get another bike change. You can see the peloton now really slowed down. It's all really compact. You don't have this long line of riders.
We're making our way into Barcelona now for the conclusion of today's stage. It has been an interesting one with 3 riders in the breakaway. No major issues for anybody. Del Toro's had to chase today, so has Paul Sexas. It's now about who has got the legs on this climb of Montjuic. Nico, let's just quickly talk about the circuit that's coming up. We know that it's different to the circuit that's used for cycling fans who've watched Volta Catalunya a lot. It's not the same.
No, it's not the same. You will recognize some of the roads from Catalunya, from the Volta stages, because it's the same mountain, but there's multiple roads up and multiples around down, and some of them you've gone up, some of them you've gone down, or you've seen on TV over the years. The climb is pretty steep. The third category climb, 1.6 kilometers long, but almost 10% average. And that will be the top of that climb is at 3 kilometers to go. You will have 1.5 kilometers of an extremely fast descent. We've seen that on the video earlier on with Ron Antonio Fletcher, and then you will go into a very fast sweeping right turn. The riders will probably go into that turn around 80 or 85 kilometers per hour, and then it's 700 meters at 7%. So quite a steep climb all the way up to the Barcelona Olympic Stadium. The lap is 12 kilometers long, and they will be going over the line 3 times.
You know this finish, or similar, from 2012.
Yes, I was on the attack on that climb in the Vuelta with Perito Rodriguez and Philippe Gilbert. Unfortunately, both of them made it to the finish, and I was caught about 2 kilometers to go. But I remember well the climb. It's steep, it's difficult. But this finish is different again because we finished on the flatter part, where this time they kick back up another 700 meters.
Yeah, you turned left, and this time we turned right.
Right.
Sexas is on the back of the peloton.
Yeah, on his teammate's bike still.
They're just waiting to see when the team car is ready. He's going to change now. Here he goes. Paul Sexas, bike change back to his original bike or his own spare bike. And the
one rider who
is
stayed with
there.
him.
Let's see what bike he's managed to get back on. He's now back on his spare bike. So Sexas is underway with the cars around about him, which is good news.
There's his teammate with him as well to help him out.
Oh, he's dropped his teammate already. As Paul Sexas comes back into the race, we're going to look back on what's happened so far. Stage 2 of the Tour de France, 113th edition from Tarragona to Barcelona. 3 riders on the attack early. Frank van den Broek of Team Picnic Post NL, Reyzan Engelhardt, and also Molinar. There was an early crash involving Biniam Girmay and also Dorian Godon. At the intermediate sprint, with 82.9 kilometres to go, it was Alex Molinar, the Dutchman from the wildcard team, who took the points. For the green jersey, it was interesting to see Biniam Girmay race across the line first ahead of Pedersen. On the King of the Mountains, Van den Broek looked like cramped up, and Molinar took the first King of the Mountains of today's stage. Problems later for Isaac Del Toro. Del Toro had to wait a long time for a bike change, ultimately raced back into the peloton with about 58 kilometres of racing to go. Recently, Paul Sexas has had a bike change as well. He had to take his teammate's bike, Aurélien Paris-Pant, and he's now had a subsequent bike change as he looks to get himself back into the race. That's going to be interesting, the feet on those barriers. So he went past the Temple of the Sacred Heart, then built in the 20th century. The architect Henrik Sunier was the... That was very, very close indeed. Did they hit it or did they not? Alexandre Delettre. It has been interesting, to say the least, at the back of this race today.
A lot of punctures today.
Aurélien Paripant, who will ride into the finish line now.
And Moxes has it on his own now. Hopefully there'll be a car coming up to give him a bit of a hand. They're getting very close to this final circuit.
This is Sexas. Every little chase, they cost you some energy. And he's having to do it on his own right now. And he has got daylight between him and the rear of the race. There it is, just ahead.
There's no teammates with him, no cars coming around. There's the commissaire car, but the commissaire is not giving him any help at all.
Here's his team car. Finally, they can come in and they'll brake and they'll try and get it back into the race as quickly as possible. The famous stadium of FC Barcelona. Back of the peloton. Where is Sexas? Is he back in the race? His team are hanging back and waiting for him. Ace Bowl, number 53. And it looks like the breakaway is coming back now. They've finally been caught. Sexas is almost there. The team car just in front of him. He's now in the convoy. He can see the red cars, but the speed in Barcelona means that it is very rapid.
Kilometers till to come into the circuit and Plaza de España, where they went around yesterday. It's funny to think that it's already almost 4 months that we met there for coffee after you were working at the Volta Catalunya.
That seems like about a week ago, doesn't it?
There's Sexas in the back of the lead commissaire.
Yeah, the red car is helping him back in safely to the race.
He's losing a lot of energy today.
Yes, isn't it? It's not a good time.
No, you just appreciate the speed of how the peloton is going at the moment.
Yeah, once you're in the streets of Barcelona, this race is absolutely flat out, isn't it? He's almost on the back of that car again now, and he will get himself safely into the wheels, and he'll take a big deep whoa, that was close. A bottle, big deep breath, and get himself up to the front as quickly as possible.
There's
through the
Plaza
Twin Towers now in Plaza España. This is the traditional finish of Volta Catalunya. We normally come along the road from the right hand side, up here through the towers, up to the top and turn left. And the buses normally park left and right hand side. This is the finish of the women's Volta Catalunya. Big left hand turn. Lidl Trek now taking control for the team looking after the interests of Ayuso and Schelmoser, in particular Ayuso, who is 4th overall. 30 kilometers to go.
And this is now on the circuit. 3 laps. Now all the teams, so they have a bit more flat now before they start going up, go down to another big boulevard.
Lidl Trek. Pedersen taking control now at the head of the race, looking after the interests of Ayuso, so it's all committed, isn't it? Doesn't matter whether you're the green jersey rider or not. Do you think Pedersen's got a chance? Or is he just riding for the team?
For the green jersey?
No, for today.
Ah, no, definitely not.
No, definitely
he's
not.
keeping Ayuso in position.
big move on the right-hand side. Another team moving up. It's the team of Uno X Mobility. They've got Johannesson as their general classification rider. Look at Pedersen really moving on the left-hand side. Behind now his teammate who's taking control. Looks like Tom Scoynes, who's the rider on the front.
So the first part of the climb is quite a big road, so you still have time to move up a little bit. As you can see on the right-hand side there, Serafini with Nygaard on his wheel.
Yeah, the yellow jersey arrives. The Danish champion Magnus Kort checking over his shoulder. And suddenly you get this real momentum of the riders. This last 29 kilometers is going to absolutely fly by this afternoon.
Yes, they're going to turn right now shortly, and then make their way at the bottom of the first part of the climb.
Farček is the second rider into that corner in the colours of Czechia as he takes control. Ayuso is not too far behind. Tadej Pogačar is a couple of places behind Ayuso. Roman Gregoire is up there. Right-hand side, Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe move up with Maxime Van Gils. He's looking around for Remco. EF move up with Carapaz, as you said, in the colours, the pink colours, on the right-hand side as we look. Now the climb is going to start.
There's the team of UAE, Emirates. They're putting the pressure with EF, and I think that was Valgren riding there for EF.
Do you feel like today Pogačar wants to turn round to Vingegaard and just say, as we see the vital statistics of a climb, we're going to go 3 times up? I think Pogačar would like to strike back today and say, yeah, okay, you took yellow yesterday, but I'm the strongest. Make a statement on today's stage.
I think Tadej likes to make a statement on every stage. It's an easy answer, but it's true. But I also think that Nygaard responds well to the statements. And he's the one with the advantage at the moment.
He is.
With McNulty, I think. Very high cadence there.
Well, the crowd urging these riders on now as they make their way up Montjuic. The team of Group Arma look very, very interested today to try and do something.
Quentin Pacher there on the left.
He looks good, doesn't he? Quentin Pacher. He's got Gregoire around him, but Mathieu Van der Poel
is also hanging in there. An already very, very reduced group there.
Yeah, it's a rapid tempo over the top of that little section, and UAE are firmly in control with Brandon McNulty on the front. Behind him is Pogačar. Behind Pogačar is Vingegaard in the yellow. Remco Evenepoel looks like he's out for a Sunday afternoon ride. He sits behind. Just behind them is Ayuso in the white. He looks good. Up towards the front also Jorgensen in the colours of Wiesmann Lisa bike, that black jersey with the yellow helmet. Farček is there for Lidl Trek with Ayuso. He looks good. Oh, there's a touch of wheels on that corner. Just as UAE start to up the tempo. One rider hit a wheel. And McNulty's making this look very, very easy right now.
And this is when it starts to get a little bit steeper. It will get narrower, about 400 meters to the top. And we'll go from this kind of 2.5 to 3 lane into a much smaller 1.5 lane. But this climb is not technical. It's literally just about having the legs and straight up.
So McNulty setting a nice hard tempo for Pogačar. It looks like Pogačar wants to strike back today. 3 kilometers to the finish line here. Behind, let's take a look down the line. Ayuso hanging back a little bit at the moment. Van der Poel is still there, but the shoulders are moving a lot, left and right, as he tries to stay in the group of riders and give himself an opportunity.
Lipovic seems to be drifting back now. He seems like he's coming back to the front, actually.
How long does Pogačar leave it here? Because he's only got one teammate left in McNulty. At some point, he's going to have to go, and he's going to go early. The crowd really producing the most incredible atmosphere. Remco Evenepoel looks so easy on the right-hand side, doesn't he? So simple for him. Lipovic, on the other hand, is grinding his way up this climb, and we're only on the climb for the first time. This is 14%. Alaphilippe cracks. He's gone. former yellow jersey. Wow, the noise on this climb is incredible. Look at the backdrop of Barcelona as the fans create a theatre for the Tour de France. Pogačar licks his lips. He's ready to strike.
Vingegaard looking very comfortable there. Remco looking comfortable as well.
I can't believe the sound on this particular mountain today. McNulty is doing the most incredible job. Out the back goes Aurélien Paripant. He gave his bike to Sexas. Where is Sexas right now? It doesn't look to me like he's around. Bernal in the green jersey is drifting backwards. That's over the top of the climb.
No, there's Paripant there. No, doesn't look like he's around the first 20-30 riders.
Tejada's still up towards the front, I think, for the team of XDS Astana. If he is, that's a great ride, considering the big crash he had yesterday.
I think that's Arnsman from Net Company who's there. I don't see Vauquelin. Or is that Vauquelin just here in the
Let's have a little look.
Decision?
Remco does his jersey up. And they get a little bit of cobbles over that little section. Pogačar looks comfortable. Let's have a little look here at the head of the race. Who is going to win this stage? Only 26 kilometres of racing to go. A little bit of respite from the sun as they make their way into the shade.
And McNulty riding very smart here. He knows he has to ride long, or at least until Tadej attacks.
Sexas moving up on the right-hand side as we look. He's finally got himself back to the head of the race. There he is. What a great ride he's done.
Still fighting to gain every single position. Ayuso sitting there as well in fourth, fifth wheel. Leaning into it. These two hairpins are extremely fast.
So a fast descent. What sort of speeds will we be hitting down here?
Oh, I'd say around 85, 90.
Very, very rapid descent then for these riders. Through the trees as we look. Everyone in one long line.
And this is coming into the fast right-hand turn, sorry. Under the kilometre to go.
Oh, McNulty just had to ease off a little bit through that turn. 46k an hour, and now we're on to the next part of the climb. Pogačar looks so ready in the King of the Mountains, the polka dots. 500 metres to go. The same finish as yesterday. Ayuso taking on food. Sexas looks comfortable. Also up towards the front is Tish Benoit. He looks comfortable as well in the colours of Decathlon. Jorgensen ready on the wheel of Pogačar. Pidcock moves up on the left-hand side. Pidcock looks comfortable as well.
Martinez in that group. There's Romain Grégoire with the French national jersey. Your pick for today, wasn't it? That was your pick for today, Romain Grégoire.
Grégoire is there, yeah. He's
that was your pick.
The day. There he is. French champion. He looks like he's suffering a little bit.
About 60 riders in that group.
Yeah, it's really diminished in numbers now, hasn't it? Lipovitz on the wheel of Maxime Van Gils. Pogačar moves up on the right-hand side. This is Kevin Vauquelin, who is suffering right now for Net Company Ineos. It's not going well for the Frenchman, is it? At all.
No. Now it's surprising to see him at the back on this lap.
Moving up the team of Lidl Trek.
Interesting to see Del Toro halfway down that little group rather than being in the front.
UAE look like they brought some reinforcements forward for Pogačar now. McNulty's got a little bit of assistance. Second wheel. Yates has got himself there. Adam Yates knows this circuit well. Here comes Michael Storer in the black and red, coming back into the race. Sorry, Hirschi coming back into the race. stage winner in the Tour. Tiberi out the back here for Bahrain Victorious in his debut as he tries to come back as well.
It's also not good news. That was their team leader for the GC. He's going to have a try at it.
I thought at the beginning of the season Tiberi was on amazing form, and now the form has just disappeared. So Adam Yates and Brandon McNulty on the head of the peloton now, with Pogačar in the polka dot jersey. Only 22.9 kilometres of racing to go. Vingegaard just relaxing on the wheel of Jorgensen. He's got plenty of riders around him. Pogačar's even got the polka dot shades on today. Bruno Amirai having a long conversation. Carapaz is still there. Del Toro is there as well. Lennart van Etveld of the team of Lotto Intermarché. Jordan Jagat going well as well.
You could see Vingegaard was having a chat with his teammate there. Talking about tactics. Inuik's doing well with 3 riders in that group. Inuik's mobility.
How long can McNulty continue like this? I guess now with Adam Yates there's no worries. He can do a long turn and then peel off when he's ready. Del Toro moves up as well. Suddenly UAE are back in full strength at the head of this peloton on stage 2 from Tarragona to Barcelona. A stage of 168.5 kilometres today. 183 riders started, and now it comes down to a peloton of 50-60 riders heading towards the next climb.
Yeah, maybe even if that. It looked bigger earlier on.
Yeah, maybe 50 maximum. Kevin Vauquelin into the group of riders now. Can he recover a little bit?
Well, there won't be much recovery because this is when they start to climb again. Oh. Oh.
That's not good news. He's got something caught. Anton Pache, and he cannot get that out of the wheel at all. Such a shame, and he was going superbly. In fact,
flag.
An entire flag, but he ripped it off.
That's so unfortunate for him there.
He was going superbly, wasn't he, Anton Pache? Never won a bike race as a professional bike rider, but looked superb today. And a team, as you've said, they're here to win stages. That's what they've decided their whole strategy is.
Now they're on the climb.
Now it gets difficult. Talk us through this part of the climb again. How tough is it?
The first 1.5 kilometers, as you can see there, it's kind of gradual, around 5%. The last 1.5 kilometers averages around 11%, with a ramp at 14% at about 300 meters to the top. There's Vauquelin just touching the back of the group there. Jagat, Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez is not enjoying this climb either, is he? Hanging on the back. So at the moment, Bahrain Victorious, his 2 leaders, are not looking their best.
Tobias Foster in that group, doing well.
Yep, Alex Aranburu at the back, number 163.
Surprised to see John Pidcock sitting so far back in that group, though.
Yep, Alex Bourdin is here. He wore the leader's jersey in Tour of Rhône-Alpes for a few days and looks good again at the head of the race for EF Education Easy Post. 20 kilometres of racing to go. Pogačar talking into the radio.
Yes, it'll have a little bit of a dip now before it goes into the harder part. Doing a great job there, McNulty.
He is, isn't he? When does Pogačar attack? Does he leave it late? Does he go long? What does he do?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all because but both could work. I think with how Vingegaard has been racing, I wouldn't go too long because Vingegaard would probably can go with him. So I wonder if his tactics is just to go on the final lap one very big time. And it seems to be like that for now because they're even taking a quick drink, making sure to have enough We're within 20 k's to go. It is a hot day. We will talk about the hot weather protocol, although today we had no information of when we call it the bar is open or closed, the feed.
We just went past Casamia. The architect was Gaudi. Built between 1906 and 1912, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, listed in 1984. Well, the beaches are packed. The roads are packed, the crowd are cheering the riders in the Tour de France on here in the centre of Barcelona. McNulty pouring water over his head, trying to be as cool as possible. His vantage points everywhere are taken.
Now they're going to go back onto that main road, and they will start the steeper part of the climb in about 2.5 kilometers. That'll be the second time up this the Côte du Château de Montjuic.
Just to let you know, closing of feed today is at 12 kilometres from the finish line. So in 6 kilometres time, no more bottles or gels or anything like that can be taken on board by these riders. They need to have everything they need for the last 12 kilometres on the bikes or in the pockets.
There's Arnaud Delis.
With Baptiste Weisstroffer, Delis is in all sorts of trouble. What are the rules if he gets caught?
I don't know. I don't think it's been thought of. It's not in the book.
No. But remember the World Championships in Geelong in Australia?
Yeah, but after the Worlds, the race ends. Where there's a stage tomorrow. It's not in the rule book. I've looked it up earlier on. I'm trying to look at but I remember why you're going for Geelong, because it was almost 20 minutes.
Yeah, 17 minutes, 30 seconds or something. And the breakaway nearly caught the peloton, in which case the whole peloton would have been out of the race. And it would have gone, a world title would have gone to a group of riders who had broken away at the start of the World Championships in Geelong many years ago. But what happens on this circuit if Arnaud Delis is caught by this peloton, which is starting to look like a possibility? Onto the race, still the team of UAE. Behind them, Pinarello Q36.5 for Pidcock, who has openly said today is a chance. Coming back into the peloton now, having a bit of a yo-yo day is Kevin Vauquelin. He's not enjoying this stage, but he's getting himself back into the race every time he gets dropped. Can Vauquelin do something, or are the legs completely gone?
Now they're heading towards the climb. So it's 19% today, because it's a coefficient 3, the average is above 44. So it'll be 19% of the winner's time he needs to be in.
That's okay then. That's not going to happen, is it? Here we are, onto the climb. There's your profile of the Montjuic part of the climb, and then the climb to the Olympic Stadium. Pinarello, pull the plug and leave Pidcock in a good position into that climb there. Net Company Ineos are moving up. Vauquelin is there. Mauro Schmidt is dropped from the team of Jaco Alula. He is distanced now. UAE pushing, starting to force a little bit more with McNulty still on the front. Pidcock has moved up onto the wheel and getting ready for an attack. Pidcock looking strong this afternoon.
Remco looking very good too.
On the back of the group is Sergio Higuita. Higuita knows this climb. He won Volta Catalunya here. Left-hand side, Remco is spinning away in a tiny gear, pouring water over himself, while his teammate Lipovic is in difficulty on the left-hand side towards the back. Schelmoser moves up for Lidl Trek in the red, yellow and blue.
Usually doing a great job there on the right-hand side of the screen as well. About 7th wheel. On the wheel of Del Toro.
Adam Yates just in front of Del Toro. Pidcock not bothered by Pogacar. He's quite happy to sit third wheel in this group of riders. Just in front of him is Amarai. Look at Adam Yates, he looks easy. Third place in the Tour de France in his career already. Jorgensen moves up for Wiesmann Lisa bike with Jonas Vingegaard on the wheel, and they almost go up on the barriers and down the other side and use it like a velodrome. Sexas moves up.
With the shorter cranks and the riders pedaling through the corners, it looks very different. And before you was like, oh, you have to stop at some point.
But they don't anymore.
They don't anymore. They can pedal through every single corner.
Clement Brasafonso in trouble now at the back. 15 kilometres to go. Who is going to win this stage? Johannesson looking for a bottle. The Soigneur of Jaco Alula doesn't hand him one, and yet again I completely disagree with that.
And it's starting to be too hard for Bernard Mirai, who swung off the line. Jorgensen goes straight away to the wheel of McNulty.
3k to go. Vingegaard sitting down. Pidcock with that familiar style. Out the saddle, left-hand side. Pogacar looks really, really in control.
And there where he needs to be, because usually when we see him attack, he's always on the wheel of the yellow jersey. Or Vingegaard. Good job there from Bernard Mirai. And Jagat is really struggling today. A rider who wanted to be in the top 10 of the Tour de France is having a hard day in Barcelona.
Arensman's having a hard day as well. Simon Arensman rocking and rolling. He quite often, early stages of a race, has a horrible day. But he gets himself back into the wheels. Also, Tobias Foss doing a fantastic job for Net Company Ineos today. As you spotted, he's just up in the front. Moving up then, Pogacar on the wheel of Vingegaard, who's tucked in on the wheel of Pidcock. They go under the trees. Still, McNulty sets the tempo. Pogacar looks across. Remco Evenepoel has a little glance while his teammate moves up on the left-hand side with that more crouch style in the blue and white of Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe underneath the yellow flare, which the riders won't like at all. Particularly in this heat, and this intensity goes straight into the lungs. 14.8 kilometres to go. Pogacar almost biding his time before he attacks, because they're all queuing up around him.
Yeah, looks like it's not going to be the attack on this lap, although he is looking around. Almost at the top. You can just see the top there, the barriers with the KOM sign.
Tish Benoot starting to suffer now. Into the last 15 kilometres of today's stage, and we're over the top of that part of the climb. Fast downhill again in a moment until we get set for the second phase of this climb. Hanging on the back is Davide Piganzoli. Right on the back is Jai Hindley. He's hanging on as well.
He's not liking this court, Jai Hindley.
It's not a Jai Hindley course, this one, is it?
No, it's funny how some of the real pure climbers who are used to doing those 40, 50-minute climbs kind of suffer on the steeper, more punchy climbs like today. A lot of these climbers and top GC guys are brilliant at pacing themselves for those extremely long climbs, but they often suffer the change of speed and the game you play on those shorter climbs, where you go full in for about 2 to 3 minutes and then you back off a bit and you go again full in for another 2 or 3 minutes. That kind of kills their legs, where riders like Arnsman, Jay Hindley, even Jagat in a different way, once they start hitting climbs of 20, 30, 40 minutes, they won't take the acceleration. They'll back off and keep their rhythm, and they'll be capable of holding that sustained power for a long time rather than accepting the change of pace.
That's the market that has the ceiling on it that is supposed to look like the colours of fruit and vegetables from the air. Vingegaard sitting still on the wheel of Jorgensen as we go fast downhill now, leaning it over into the turns. This is Izagirre, who's just off the back of the front group. Izagirre trying to come back. They're not backing off much on this descent, are they? McNulty leans it into that turn. Behind him is Jorgensen. Then it's Vingegaard in the yellow jersey. onto the next part of the climb. Pogacar moves up onto the wheel, a little bit closer, tucks in. Remco Evenepoel right on his wheel. And we're going to come up now and we will have the final lap of racing on this Mondiaux course. Skelmoser looks very easy for the team of Lidl Trek. Barcek, Lidl Trek have got a decent group of riders in here with Barcek, Skelmoser, Ayuso, all in this group.
Yeah, they're doing well at the moment.
One lap of racing to go here in Barcelona. The Grand Depart in Barcelona for the very first time. In the yellow jersey, Jonas Vingegaard. And next time round, we're going to know who wins the stage. The bell goes, one lap to go. The Mayor of Barcelona ringing the bell and giving the sign to the riders that they've got just 14 points, 7 kilometres to go at the top of Montjuic, 11 and a bit here at the finish line.
And they're using having a chat.
Conversation between Del Toro and Pogacar. What are they going to do? And Pogacar going the little motorbike sign. Does that mean you go for it, or does it mean I need you to go full out on the next climb? We'll find out soon.
Matthew Van der Poel's still there.
He is, isn't he? Gregoire is still there. Johannesson is still there. Ayuso looks easy. Sexas is there. Van der Poel just having a little drink on the left-hand side. Yanis Voizard of Tudor Pro Cycling is still there. Pidcock is moving up again. But it looks to me from that little signal that on the next climb, Del Toro is going to go all out and Pogacar's going to attack.
I mean, it is also the last climb.
Yes. Let's see what happens. Thanks very much for joining us. I'm Ant McCross and alongside me is Nico Roach. We're bringing you stage 2 of this Tour de France from Tarragona to Barcelona. It's been an interesting day with the breakaway, but right now it's all about the contenders going to try and win the stage. Jonas Vingegaard leads this race by 8 seconds from Filippo Ganna, who's not in this front group. Tadej Pogacar at 12 seconds, Ayuso at 16, Remco Evenepoel at 19, Del Toro at 26. There's bonus seconds at the finish line.
Yes, so the first 3 over the line, there'll be 10, 6 and 4 seconds.
Higuita back at the Shimano car. He's taken a bottle and it's outside of the feed zone, so he'll get fined for that tomorrow. McNulty continues the final 10 kilometres of today's stage. McNulty's ridden this entire circuit pretty much on the front since we entered it.
And he's doing extremely well. You could again see the experience. He paces the right speed on the climb. He's not trying to blow the race apart. He's just making it hard. The tempo is high up there. Kind of shredding the peloton from the back. Taking it slightly easier on the flatter and descending parts. Not taking any risk in the corners. You can just see how well the experienced rider is. When you have to ride long, everything counts. You have to use the road to your benefit. There are moments where you don't need to go that little bit harder. You have to use the road, help you when you can. And he's doing that very well. You slow down a little bit in the corner. You don't need to put the pressure on the corner. You can actually freewheel into the corner, take a breather. He knows his job is done in about 4 kilometers.
No one's going to overtake him, are they? They're quite happy for him to set this pace for now.
For now. Unless there was a team that had more numbers. And as you can see, like I'm saying, he's keeping it steady on the flat. Riders are coming back from being dropped on the previous climb. Very, very steady riding.
Yesterday, Wiesma had a perfect day. They took the team time trial. They're all together. Jorgensen, Piganzoli and Vingegaard. I don't see Sepp Kuss here, surprisingly.
No, Sepp Kuss was probably told to sit up today. Once again, we know how good he is on the longer climbs, but we also know how much he dislikes these types of courses.
save the legs for another day. Sepkus, who lives in Andorra, not too far away. We continue with the pace setting, and it's still McNulty on the front. Only 8.5 kilometres of racing to go. Further down, riders are almost just queuing up behind Pogacar in that polka dot jersey. He said yesterday, well, it's good, I've got climbing legs. After he saw the King of the Mountains, he was the fastest rider, wasn't he, up the climb yesterday?
Yes, he was 2 seconds quicker than Vingegaard and Remco Evenepoel over the total length of the climb. So not just the steep part, just over the length of 3.7 kilometers.
Johannesson on the wheel of Remco Evenepoel. Movistar have got a couple of riders here as well. A better day for them today. This is Delbove, number 203 in the colours of Total Energy. Moving up, Piganzoli to look after the back wheel of Jonas Vingegaard behind them as they look for a bottle. No, they don't get one, so it looks like the commissaires may have changed that rule because the soigneurs are still at the side of the road. Still the same number of riders, no major regroupment at all. And only 7.7 kilometres of racing to go, and we've still got a real showdown to come.
And the bottom of the climb is about 4.5 kilometers to go.
Looking a little bit further back. Who is going to be able to attack?
Yeah, so they must have had the authorization to give an extra feed.
I would have thought so, yeah.
He's not happy with his feed. There we go.
Another
Water.
one. Gets rid of whatever was on it. Ice or gel.
Yes, it's usually an extra gel that they put on the bottles.
Jorgensen just pouring water over Jonas Vingegaard, trying to keep him as cool as possible. It's a very, very hot day. Another bottle for Vingegaard as he gets as much hydration on board as possible. They're looking after him well. Pogacar a little bit further back, just freewheeling through that turn, 56k an hour, and get set for this final climb, because I think we're about to have fireworks.
And lastly, a sip of water there from everyone. And about 2 kilometers before the bottom of the last KOM. You can just see the Ayuso trying to move up. Riders getting into position. The bottom of the climb is wide. There is moments to move up if you have the legs. Sexas going there with his teammate as well.
Sexas moves up with Tish Benoot to the final couple of turns, heading towards this climb. The expectation of everybody, you can almost feel right now, they know that there is something about to explode. If you want to win this stage, you need to be now ready to produce the performance of your life. Pidcock moving up onto the wheel of Pogacar, not too far away. Jorgensen having a chat to Vingegaard. They've been talking a lot. Water over the head from Tish Benoot. It's kind of stalemate, a little bit of a relax for a moment as everybody gets set. Uno X Mobility move up with Johannesson getting ready for this final push towards the top of the climb. Uno X Mobility with Johannesson in second place. Just in front of him is, I think, Torsten Train is the rider who's setting the pace.
Doing a good job to take things in hand. Ayuso coming into the right, pushing out the rider from that company.
Looks like Tobias Foss. Foss is still there, you know, with an opportunity to win this stage. Moving up Lipovic, left-hand side in the white shouldered jersey. Gregoire is set. Mathieu van der Poel is there as well. Jorgensen gets ready to move. Van der Poel now gets set and starts to go. At the back of the group, McNulty eventually. What a job Brandon McNulty has done on today's stage. Into the corner first goes Varcek. He leans it over. accelerates hard now. Varcek looking to set things up for Lidl-Trek. Foss is still there. Can Tobias Foss win this race? Former world champion of the time trial, looks to be in incredible form.
And then this lap around, we have Jonas sitting on the wheel. Tadej Pogacar, that was different on the last lap. It's Del Toro trying to come in. Acceleration there by Tiege Benoot.
Benoot looks good. Well, Pogacar had given a signal to Del Toro, but Decathlon are taking this on anyway. They want to set their own tempo. 1,600 metres to go. When is there going to be an attack? Who is going to be the first rider? Who is going to go? There's the profile on the right-hand side. Pogacar had a little problem there, and Del Toro just helped him. Pogacar moves up. There's a little bit of daylight with Del Toro. Vingegaard doesn't look quite so good on this climb right now. He drops back a little bit. Tobias Foss trying to move here on the left-hand side. Doesn't quite have the legs. Remco Evenepoel looks very focused and ready. I don't see Pidcock, who wanted to win today's stage. Adam Yates moves up to kind of block things. Pogacar spinning well.
Big pull by Tiege Benoot. Sexas in about 8th position.
Has Sexas got the legs to go with this? Tiege Benoot is quite happy with what's going on. Carapaz dodging in and out of the wheels.
Tom Pidcock is just down there, just where Lipovic is in about 15th position.
Pogacar still looking around. Just hearing on Radio Tour, Aronsman is distanced. Aronsman is dropped. Remco Evenepoel gets set. Benoot doing a massive turn, making the legs hurt a little bit. Glancing over, seeing where Sexas is. Pogacar waiting. On his wheel is Remco Evenepoel. Vingegaard is still there. Just hearing that Van der Poel has been dropped as well. 880 metres to go to the top of the climb. 3 kilometres remain. Yates takes over.
And Yates is going to put a big acceleration now in the last 800 metres of this climb.
Mathieu Van der Poel, it's just too hard for him today. Izagirre, Higuita, all dropped. On to the next section. Adam Yates now starts to use the torque that he's got to put everybody into difficulty. Yates looks like he's just out for a nice steady spin, but he's flying his way up this particular climb.
It's tricky with the cadence because he uses bigger cadence mode riders, but look at the damage that he is doing. At 600 meters, 500 meters to go to the top. Del Toro moves in on the outside, on the inside, back onto the wheel.
Foss is dropped. Foss now is distanced. He was riding the best stage so far. Egan Bernal in the green jersey, hanging on at the back. Also here for the team of Movistar, Kian Uterbrooks having a better day today. Looks like he might have ridden through whatever happened yesterday. Adam Yates still piling the pressure on. On the front for UAE, Lipovic is in trouble. Lipovic on the right hand side.
Ayuso is drifting back as well.
Adam Yates is doing massive damage here. Lipovic is hanging on for dear life on the left hand side. Remco Evenepoel still looks easy. 229 metres to the top of the climb and still no attack. Yates is making this hard. Pogacar glances across, looks at Del Toro. Del Toro can't do anything right now.
Carapaz is trying to move onto the right. Is he going to try and attack, or is he just moving up?
Sexas moves up. Carapaz gets ready. He now squeezes through. Can EF get the stage win? Johannesson starting to move now. Tobias Johannesson starts the attack for Uno X Mobility. Carapaz immediately onto the wheel. Pogacar also. It's Johannesson who looks for the top of this climb now to try and set this up for the victory. Big attack. Carapaz checks. Johannesson takes the King of the Mountains points. Carapaz now starts to go. Big move of Richard Carapaz.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to look at each other now to the descent. So we might see a sprint with about 15 riders, unless we see someone making the most of it. Like I was going to say, like Carapaz, who wants to attack on the descent. But straight away, Tadej Pogacar goes into the wheel.
Carapaz at 50k an hour wants to try and lengthen this out and not let riders come back. Pogacar on the wheel, Sexas is there, Vingegaard is too. I'm surprised we haven't seen an attack of the 4 times winner of this Tour de France.
It looks like Del Toro is talking on the radio. Is he going to come to the front? Attack there on the right by Scalemoser.
Lidl Trek trying to go on the offensive now with Schelmoser. He starts to move. 46k an hour. Del Toro comes to the front. He is the rider now who sets a big tempo for Pogacar to try and win this second stage. Vingegaard is still there. Schelmoser opening up a gap at 70k an hour. Only 1,400 meters to go. Nico, what's left?
So there's 2 hairpins now, or 2 of these really, really long sweeping turns, and then they'll go sharp right, full on into the bottom of the climb. 700 meters at around 8%.
Schelmoser banks it right over here to try and get through these turns as quick as possible. 1k to go, Carapaz on the outside. This is a big, big descent now towards a race finish. Only 700 meters to go. Who is going to win
Del Toro
this stage?
flying through the corner there with Vingegaard on the wheel.
To the front, Vingegaard is on the wheel. Del Toro opens it up now at 57k an hour. Pogacar is getting set to try and win this stage. Little bit of daylight now with Del Toro, Pogacar and Vingegaard. Schelmoser's there. Remco Evenepoel moving up as well. Pogacar looks around almost nonchalantly. Lets Del Toro go on the other side of the road. And it looks to me like Del Toro is moving to try and win the stage. Del Toro, Isaac Del Toro. Oh, he almost hits the barriers. Isaac Del Toro, Pogacar's trying to give him the stage victory. Isaac Del Toro, Pogacar. Pogacar's telling him to go for the line. Isaac Del Toro, Pogacar. It's a 1-2.
What an incredible finish there by the duo. Isaac Del Toro just went so deep to try and get the lead out that he opened up a little gap. Tadej Pogacar being a real gentleman leaving it there. He wanted to make sure he had it. It was very, very, very close. Great job there by Vingegaard to go and congratulate his opponent. Oh, just look at that. He just gave everything. And Remco Evenepoel in third.
Well, the camera didn't quite know what was going on either because Del Toro had gone on the other side of the road and Pogacar was letting him go. It was a team plan. Isaac Del Toro, the Mexican, wins a stage of the Tour de France. Pogacar was shouting at him, go, go, go.
It also shows how much Pogacar was in control to be able to have that sharp moment of thinking, saying, and to be able to tell him, just keep on going. He backed off. He was in control. When he realized the gap was over, he re-accelerated to drop Vingegaard to try and close the gap. But he did see Remco Evenepoel coming like a bullet on the inside.
What a job by UAE Team Emirates XRG. Pogacar plays the team game and gives Isaac Del Toro the stage win. Look at this. They had time to sit up to celebrate and enjoy a 1-2 for UAE Team Emirates XRG. Orchestrated to perfection by the 4 times winner of the Tour. They outwitted everybody.
Yeah, they rode in control the last 25 kilometers of the race. There's that replay again. He is in front of him.
It was a little close.
It was a little close. Del Toro almost touching the barriers as well at about 50 meters to go.
Del Toro on his absolute limit on that run-in. And then he realises he's won a stage of the Tour.
Great riding by Schelmoser. You could just see the red helmet there in the back, coming in 5th or 6th. And brilliant riding there by UAE Emirates XRG.
Pogacar ecstatic at the victory for his teammate. pull off the plan that they had obviously conjured up on the run-in.
Well, I think Del Toro was really there for the lead out. The plan was made up when Tadej thought, well, the gap is open, I can let Del Toro win. But I do think the plan was that Tadej was going to go for the victory. And then when he realized at that moment that there's no one on the wheel, it's like, go, 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 you have this. And he was nice enough to give it to his teammate.
A 1-2 for Del Toro and Pogačar, with Remco Evenepoel and then Jonas Vingegaard just behind on a very, very difficult finish. I thought he was going to crash on the run-in when he almost clipped the barriers. But the realisation that you win a stage of the Tour is something incredibly special. The thing is, they are so strong as a team, they can play all sorts of games. Let's take a look at the top 10. Isaac Del Toro wins for UAE Team Emirates XRG ahead of Tadej Pogačar, with Remco Evenepoel in third place. The yellow jersey of Vingegaard on the wheel in fourth, and it was Schelmoser, Johannes and Gregoire up there in seventh place.
And Top Peacock in 10th place, so good ride there by him. At some point he was totally out of the screen.
Stunning performance as they get onto the time trial bike.